season opener. They had the second most points and yards in school history. They hit on 10 of 12 passes for 279 yards. Now the biggest worry against 1AA Illinois State is overconfidence.
They're a well-coached football team. I'm really impressed with how hard the kids play. And the first thing I always evaluate on my team, and the first thing I always evaluate regardless of what athletic contest I go to or watch at any level, is how hard the participants are playing. And these kids play as hard as they possibly can. A year ago they played the University of Illinois from our conference. They had over 500 yards offense. So needless to say, we're not going to take them lightly.
And the place to see that high-powered Gopher offense firsthand is here on FSN. They'll try to move to 2-0 against Illinois State starting at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon.
The Metrodome is filling up with fans in hopes of seeing another offensive outburst. Last week, the Gophers topped the nation in total offense, led by arguably the best running back tandem in the country. Marion Barber and Lawrence Maroney hit the ground running as Minnesota racked up over 400 rushing yards, giving the Gophers plenty to smile about. We are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis getting set for Big Ten football. The 24th ranked Golden Gophers of Minnesota hosting Illinois State. The Redbirds, a 1AA school out of the Gateway Conference. And welcome to Minneapolis. I'm Beth Mowens along with Charles Arbuckle. And Charles, Minnesota, very impressive last week in their debut, putting up 63 points on Toledo. And of course, it's all driven by that terrific ground game of Maroney and Barber.
Those two guys have explosion, speed, and power. And we're going to see a lot of them today because they can really run the football effectively. Two different personalities, but the same results on the football field.
Obviously, for Illinois State to have any kind of hope today against Minnesota, they're going to have to slow down that rushing attack. They've got a pretty good guy in the middle that can do that in Boomer Grigsby, the two-time Gateway Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
Keep looking at home for number 46, Boomer Grigsby. You're going to say his name a lot because he's going to fly around the football. Led the team in tackles last week. That's accustomed. He's accustomed to doing that. He's working up the breaking tackles charts. He wants to get after Galen Scott, the linebacker coach who has all the records set at Illinois State.
He is closing in on that all-time tackles record. The coaches think he can play on Sunday next year. The Golden Gophers getting ready to take on Illinois State. It's Big Ten football from Minneapolis. If you like offense, this is the place to be. Stick around. That story next. The skyline of Minneapolis from the vantage point of the University of Minnesota campus. An absolutely gorgeous fall afternoon. Perfect for Big Ten football here inside the Metrodome. Illinois State in town to take on the 24th ranked Golden Gophers. And Minnesota fans have been treated, Charles, to some unbelievable offensive performances over the last 13, 14 months. And the numbers that the Golden Gophers have been running up are phenomenal.
Well, they really have. I mean, if you look at the total offense from last year and this year, only one game, so you'll say it'll even out. But still, when you have those offensive explosions, and then you look at also scoring offense, they're scoring points. When the Gophers score 40-plus points or more under Mason, they're 20-3, Beth. So that's the kind of thing they want to have. They want to score points. I don't know if they'll stay at 63, but it's awful close if you look at 38.7 in last year.
Yeah, those numbers from 2003, top 10 in the country in all those categories. Now, Illinois State, they had a pretty good start to their season as well, beating St. Xavier and putting up over 450 yards of total offense.
Average play per game is impressive from Illinois State. You see 7.7. Anytime you run a play, you get 7 yards. The chances are you're going to be doing very well than they did against St. Xavier last week.
And last year against Illinois, they ran up over 500 yards of total offense against a Big Ten opponent. Illinois State getting ready. Some of the Redbird fans in the house, and we're getting close to kickoff. We'll be back to start things off. Big Ten football from Minneapolis right after this. Redbirds and the Golden Gophers getting set to go here at the Metrodome. And Minnesota coming out of the tunnel just a moment ago. Expectations, Charles, high coming into the season with the personnel that the Golden Gophers had coming back, and certainly inflated even more after the impressive win last weekend. So we kind of put together some of our thoughts on what it's going to take for Minnesota to win their first Big Ten Conference championship since 1967.
If you're a Minnesota fan, you're cautiously optimistic, and they will win the Big Ten if they win at the Big House. It goes without saying. That last year's struggle. Cupido continues to improve. Their quarterback has to get better. Defense doesn't lose focus and stay mentally tough. But however, you look at where they are, they have a good chance. They don't play Ohio State or Purdue. That's good for Minnesota, bad for the rest of the Big Ten.
Yeah, the schedule looks pretty good for them. Glenn Mason, the head coach in his 8th season, coming off the first 10-win campaign at Minnesota in nearly a century, dating back to 1905. Only Joe Paterno has more career wins as a head coach in the Big Ten coaching brotherhood.
We'll get to see this Minnesota offense starting right away. So Denver Johnson, the coach for Illinois State, has to be concerned about that high-powered offense. But you can see he has played the Division I teams, and as he's talked about, we're going to go out there, we're going to go into every game thinking we can win every ball game.
In his 5th season, rather, Denver played in the NFL and was an assistant coach at, among other places, Oklahoma State when Barry Sanders was there. So that's one of the reasons why they have consistently had a good rushing game at Illinois State. Lawrence Maroney, one of the deep backs, the sophomore, Big Ten Rookie of the Year last year. He is back there with Marion Barber as they await the kick of Stephen Carroll, the senior. And there is Barber. Carroll is one of the top place kickers in Division I AA. He won't even bother sending it deep to Maroney or Barber. It'll be fielded by an up man across the 45 and out towards midfield. Jason Lamers on the return, and one thing you don't want to give Minnesota is a short field to work with right out of the gate, but I guess they thought that was better than kicking it deep to one of the other two fellas. You don't want to give the fullback a bone either, because he's so used to not running the football but blocking. You see there was a flag on that play. I'm sure Lamers is going to be upset because it looks like this is going to come back. There is the offensive unit getting set to come on, including a couple of terrific receivers right there in Wheelwright and Ellerson. Let's take another look at the kick here. Boy, Lamers had some space there. He got knocked out of bounds by Earl Newby, one of the backup running backs playing some special teams. Well, the officials continue to sort out the flag. Brian Caputo and company waiting for their first chance at the Illinois State defense. Looks like they're going to talk to the replay officials to get a clarification. The referee has come over to the side, and he's on the headphones right away, so we get the replay right out of the box. Well, that didn't take long. There's another look at the kick. Now he's trying to talk on his microphone is the referee, Dan Capron. Looks like they were trying to get the exact location where they were going to spot the football. They got it sorted out, and that'll bring on Brian Cupido. Glenn Mason told us during the week, I don't think we've had as good a debut at quarterback as Cupido had last weekend, making his first start. You know, this guy is unbelievable in this offense because he has guys in front of him that make plays for him. He will pitch to Barber, trying to get around the outside, and Marion is taken down behind the line of scrimmage. It seems we've sorted out now. The whistle was blown because we believe that Lamers signaled for a fair catch, so they called him for delay of game, and that's why they're starting out back inside their own 30 as we take a look at the backs and receivers, including Ellison, a very good one. Esslinger, real solid in the middle.
Esslinger, we're going to talk a lot about him today, came in as a 240-pound freshman, now a big old guy.
Cupido will work out of the shotgun, looking right, throwing that way as well, and it's caught by Jakari Wallace. Evan Allen Gassessa in on the stop. Let's take a look at the defensive unit now for Illinois State. Cressman and Hawkins solid on the ends. We'll see a unique look from the backers and DBs.
They really will. They'll walk up both the cornerbacks sometimes and the free safeties, trying to get 8 men in the box.
3rd and 4 now from the 35. Cupido. Pass across the middle is incomplete. Drop by Jakari Wallace. So that'll bring up a 4th down, and Minnesota only had to punt once all week last week.
Well, you better watch Reese Lloyd. And also, too, that first play when they forced Maroney not to get any yardage and actually lost a little bit of yardage, that is what helped them in this drive. And that's you can see Glenn Mason upset right off the bat.
Lloyd faked his first punt last week and ran for the 1st down. He will boot this one away. And it is not a good one from Reese, off the side of his foot and out of bounds. The official still moving up the field into Minnesota territory. And Illinois State will get it inside the 45.
Well, you're so used to running over and moving in this soccer style, rugby style kick. Lloyd very well last week, only 1 punt for 34 yards, but this week the ball just goes out, doesn't ever have a good kick, and then you give Illinois State good field position.
That was only a 10-yard punt from Lloyd.
Minnesota uncharacteristically has started out poorly. 1 penalty right away and then a poor kick right on their first drive.
An early opportunity for the Redbirds. Yance Vaughn will hand it off to Demetrius Johnson up the middle. May have picked up 1 on the carry. Yance Vaughn, the 5th-year senior, finally getting the opportunity to start after watching and suffering through some injuries throughout most of his career. He had a good debut last week, threw for a couple of touchdowns. It's just the 2nd start of his career. And 2nd down and 8. The eye behind Vaughn. He'll roll out and throw into the flat. It's caught inside the 40. Catch made by Laurent Robinson, their promising sophomore. Let's take a look at the backs and receivers.
Demetrius Johnson right off the bat last week, a 70-yard touchdown run, former Minnesota Gopher. Talking about the offensive line, Stanford Davis and Jeremy Melville, 3rd-year starters, so they got a lot of experience out of those 2 guys at left guard and center.
Early challenge now for the Golden Gopher defense here to hold on 3rd and 4. Vaughn. Completion is made inside the 35, across the 30, and down the sideline goes Ramon Barber and into the end zone for the touchdown. Illinois State with the shocker. A 38-yard score on 3rd down to grab the early lead.
And that is the kind of thing you have to have in a game where you're coming into the opponent's home and you know they're a Big Ten opponent. Good play down the field, great blocking after the play, and also a good job by Ramon Barber of keeping himself alive and yards after catch.
Carroll on for the extra point, and it is good. Glenn Mason cannot believe it. Illinois State with the strike. Vaughn to Barber. And then the beautiful footwork takes it all the way.
Welcome to Ranger Country, where the new redesigned Polaris Ranger outruns, outcarries, outhauls, outpulls, and outrides every utility vehicle out there. The new Polaris Ranger, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road utility vehicle you can buy.
Hey, that thing got a Hemi? You're about to find out. Excuse me. Can I have my order, please?
Dodge Ram with the legendary Hemi. Loved by those who have one, dreamt about by those who don't.
Sweet.
Get the best selection of 04 Ram 1500 Quad Cabs with 0% APR for total savings of up to $8,100.
For great paint, head to Menards. Dutch Boy DuraClean is a lifetime warranty interior paint that goes on smooth and covers in one coat. Flat is on sale just $11.79 a gallon after $4 rebate. Seal in big savings on DAP caulk. Siliconized acrylic caulk is on sale just $1.26 a tube. Kitchen and bath silicone is titanium fortified for superior flexibility and adhesion, $3.93 a tube. Squeeze out big savings on DAP caulk from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Illinois State taking a minute, 26 seconds to go, 44 yards, and the touchdown pass from Vaughn to Ramon Barber, the junior from West Palm Beach, Florida.
That's how you have to start off. You got to come out 3 plays, 49 yards, and it's 6 points. The PAT makes it 7.
Kickoff again. They will avoid Maroney and Barber and go to Lamers underneath. Tristan Borzik making the stop on special teams for Illinois State.
Well, you look right away. Tremaine Banks has a chance to make the play, only giving up maybe a first down if not, but he makes the play. Barber just making 3 people miss right away and then getting good blocks downfield. That's how you score touchdowns, and also almost pressure on them. Minnesota's only going to come with 4 generally. Darrell Reed is almost there, but Yance Vaughn just sticks in the pocket, puts the ball out there to Ramon Barber.
So now Cupido and company will have to come from behind here early on. Handoff goes up the middle for a couple of yards. Marion Barber on the carry. The junior from Plymouth, Minnesota, scored a couple of touchdowns last week. Kai Stewart making the stop for Illinois State. There's a good look at Barber, the preseason All-American and Doak Walker candidate for top running back in the country.
Beth, if you look at it right away, they keep them to 2 yards on the first down part. If you can do that, you force them into doing things they don't want to do, throwing the football more than Minnesota likes to do.
On 2nd and 8, the pitch to Barber, following Esslinger around the outside, across the 40, and taken down at the 44 with a flag as well. Jesse Caesar making the stop, and I believe he got a part of Barber's face mask as well.
Oh, he got his face mask and almost pulled his head off. But on that particular play, Minnesota worked inside, and it's going to be the personal foul variety because he yanked his head right around.
They will tack on the extra yardage at the end of the play.
But what they did is they worked inside and it got everybody caught up inside. So you see Caesar, whenever you're out of position, this is what you normally do. You reach. And when you reach, you're going to grab for anything. Right now, if you're Barber, it's going to be your helmet. You don't like to see this happen because guys can get hurt there. But that's out of position tackling. You reach for whatever's there, and normally the face mask is the one thing you can grab.
So it's 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Lawrence Maroney, the lone setback. Play action. Cupido looking deep. And off the back of Boomer Grigsby in coverage, but a flag goes down. It's going to be interference.
I would say, though, it looks like Valentine could be called for pushing off. Now, they may call this against Grigsby, but I'll be honest with you. It looks like the receiver gets his hand out before, and they're going to call this on the defense. Generally what happens, I thought that was good coverage by Grigsby, but if you watch this replay, those guys running down the field, it's an ISO play down the middle of the field. They want to get the fullback one-on-one with the linebacker. Grigsby covering well.
We should note, too, that Valentine isn't your typical fullback. He's actually a converted tailback, so that's a lot of speed for a linebacker to try and keep up with, and there is the penalty. So a couple of penalties frustrating Denver Johnson, but certainly helping Minnesota.
Now, I mean, he's going to make the play. So that's, to me, if you look at it even before that, I watched those guys run all the way down the field, and Grigsby did an excellent job of covering, but they did call that penalty against him.
Ellerson and Wheelwright both go left. Maroney behind Cupido. Lawrence will try the right side. Good penetration by the Redbirds, and Kai Stewart, the first guy there out of his whip position. And the Redbirds call on their secondary guys to come up and play a lot of run defense for them.
And Stewart is a linebacker at 203 pounds, but he gets in there. He's flashing in, and right away he's on Maroney before he can get going. And if the first guy gets there, look at all those other white jerseys flying around. They want to get 11 to the ball, make it look like it's 13 or 14, which you can't do in tackle football. But they want to give the appearance that Kyle Stewart will start it, and then everybody else will follow.
They've almost got guys that are sort of hybrid, part safety and part linebacker back there. On 2nd and 13, Cupido will work out of the shotgun, and the pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Josh Crestman.
You know, right away, Beth, it seems like Minnesota's just kind of going through the motions. You talk about playing, you got an injury right away. So many times you see this happening. You don't account for these blocked passes, and you don't account for them. Jarek Thomas, you say, well, what happened on 2nd down? Well, a great play. You put them in 3rd and long now. They lose yardage on the first play, and it seems like right now Illinois State is playing with more intensity than Minnesota.
That was Ryan Melander who hobbled off the field. So now 3rd and 13, and a flag on the far side of the field.
At the left tackle, moving back. Ainsley creeping back before the play starts.
Partly as a result of the injury, they moved Ainsley over from the right to the left side to replace Melander and brought in Tony Brinkhouse on the right side.
And the first play, penalty, because he's used to playing the other side. It always happens when you have to move from side to side.
So now it's 3rd and 18 for the Gophers. Cupido throwing inside the 10, has a man out there, and in for the score, Jakari Wallace, but a penalty flag. And it looks like holding is going to bring this one back, as Setterstrom had to take down his man in the backfield to prevent him from getting to Cupido.
Well, Josh Crestman has been playing well. That front four really has come off the football against this vaunted Minnesota offense. And, you know, if you're Glenn Mason, you have to be highly upset because you have penalties galore where you only had one last week. But once again, you're getting guys that are not in.
Of course, new to college football this year, they are announcing the numbers of the guys that commit the infractions, and that was Setterstrom. You'll see it.
You can see you can't hold, and you have to. That was an excellent job. And we talk about how well Cupido can throw the deep ball, but you get 8 men in the box. You're going to have some open areas in the secondary.
They were set up at the 31-yard line. Now they're back out around the 44. Cupido throws it and nearly picked off at the 8-yard line. Kai Stewart could not haul that one in.
Good defense by the Redbirds. I mean, they get a second chance at life, and Cupido's trying to go deep. He does a very good job of throwing the deep ball. But Joe Watkins just plays in position and just stays there. Almost comes up with a nice catch. But if you're the Redbird coaches, you would say, hey, let's not get this interception because maybe we can get it on the 20 if the punter Reese Lloyd kicks it inside the end zone.
So Watkins unable to hang on. Cupido's on the phone upstairs, and Reese Lloyd is on to punt again. His first punt only went 10 yards. And this one will bounce out around the 17. With 10:30 to go in the first quarter, the surprise thus far, Illinois State on top of 24th ranked Minnesota.
Want another word for temptation? Try chocolate. We all love it. But what if we couldn't have it? That was reality for people trying to eat less sugar. Until candy companies partnered with Cargill to create a new generation of sugar-free chocolate. Our expertise in sugar replacers improved the taste and sweetened their candy sales by taking the sugar out and leaving the desire in. This is how Cargill works with customers.
Minnesota.
Who's this?
Hi, I'm Peter with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency.
Hi, Chad.
Honey, you said that you wanted to get a house right away, and these housing guys, they can really help get us started.
I've got information on home buyer training, first-time home buyer loans, and down payment assistance.
Oh, Chad, you're wonderful.
Call the number on your screen today to get information on Minnesota Housing Finance Agency's first-time home buyer programs.
Pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Cramming in the library? Rationing underwear? What could be more collegiate? Gopher football, that's what. The Saturday rush to Gopher football is on. So rush to the phone and dial 1-800-U-GOPHER or visit www.gophersports.com for 20% off any new season ticket. Then rush to the season opener as the Gophers face Toledo on Saturday, September 4th. Gopher football, it's the collegiate thing to do.
Big Ten football from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Illinois State taking on Minnesota. Beth Mowins along with Charles Arbuckle. And this game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. Well, the Golden Gopher faithful a little bit surprised at how things have started here. Yance Vaughn to Ramon Barber for 38 yards, the scoring strike at the 12:43 mark of the first quarter, and Illinois State up 7-0. Going back to work here, Yance Vaughn. The throw downfield is caught at the 40 by Laurent Robinson, the sophomore from Rockledge, Florida. And the Redbird staff very high on that young man. Dozier making the stop.
Very good play, and what's happening right now is this offensive line is protected. Watch how they come off the ball. You see no pressure from Vaughn. He gets back there, sticks it, throws it. Who catches it? Laurent Robinson. They expect a lot of big things. 3 touchdown catches as a freshman. They expect even more this year. The productivity between these two guys is outstanding so far in this game.
Demetrius Johnson, the lone setback. He'll get the call. And busting that play up, getting in the backfield, was the middle linebacker, Kyle McKenzie. Good penetration. Taking down his former teammate, Demetrius Johnson, who spent 3 years at Minnesota, mostly as a reserve, decided, hey, I want to carry the ball a little bit more. Transferred to Illinois State, and Demetrius Johnson is finding some success.
And the beauty of transferring to Division I AA school is that you can also play right away. You don't have to sit out and wait a year, and I think that's why you see so many transfers coming from the Division IA schools to the Division I AA schools.
They have a handful of transfers on the Illinois State team, all of them contributing. Vaughn, short drop, this pass incomplete as he was trying to get it out to Barber. Good coverage by Tremaine Banks.
It looks like Banks is playing a lot tougher. I mean, after that first series, you see the cushion given by the Minnesota defensive backs. Now they're coming up really pressuring. They have to rely on that front four to add pressure. They don't do a lot of blitzing. They stay in a base package. You can see big Anthony Montgomery, Darrell Reed. Darrell Reed is an interesting story. Came in as a freshman weighing 235 pounds, playing defensive tackle. Now he's on the outside, 275 pounds, and is a stud.
Fifth-year senior out of Freehold, New Jersey. 3rd and 12. Vaughn out of the backfield, Larson, and he dropped it. Saw that first down marker and forgot to hang on.
You got to catch the ball first before you can run with it. And you're going to see Darrell Reed, we talked about him, Pestek getting the start today. And look at that, just rip move. You're getting the pressure on him. You want to get that outside guy so they can force the quarterback to step up. Really doesn't have to worry about it because he's going to the tight end or H-back. Larson, you got to catch that ball. Mike knows it.
Ryan Hoffman will boot it away. Barber tried to scoot back to the outside and is hauled down. Cameron Siskowicz on the tackle. And Barber will come over to the sideline, join the rest of the offensive unit. One of the keys to the success of the Barber and Maroney tandem is that they can both stay fresh. They don't get overworked. And look at the numbers on those two from last year.
Very impressive with the average rush yards. And they've been struggling so far today, but 5.8 for Barber, 6.9 for Maroney.
Barber set a school record last year with those 17 touchdowns. He gets the call.
Beth, when I watched Illinois State on film, I was really impressed with how they flow to the football. Not a very big team, but pretty fast. And, you know, you see guys, and we keep seeing the same names showing up. Joe Watkins, Boomer Griggs we're going to talk about. But these guys on the outside, they have to force it inside. You see they're making him go. He can't turn his shoulders upfield. He has to stay to the sideline. And I don't care how good you are. If you're turning sideline to sideline running, you're not going to be effective.
And a lot of these guys were good enough to be recruited initially and spend time at Division I schools, including Watkins, a transfer from Auburn. On 2nd and 8. Cupido. Caught at the 45. Ellerson hauling it in. Alan Gassessa makes the stop. Jared, the junior out of Copley, Ohio.
Coming into your living room, watch the coffee mugs if you're drinking it. But nice throw by Cupido. And that's a good turn. Good defensive play right there. But when you got Ellison coming back to the football, the complete wide receiver, you're going to see a lot of him today as well as Will Wright.
A lot of folks will talk about the receiving corps at Michigan, but this is a solid twosome for Minnesota as well. Cupido goes back to Ellerson across midfield, sheds a couple of defenders, and dives down to 41. That'll be good for Minnesota first down.
When you watch Ellerson play, he doesn't look like he's moving fast. Everybody out in the chute, he's so fast, he's coming out of the chute. He's so smooth when he gets to where he's going. And then the yards after catch, the yak, he's moving up the receiving chart because of this. The ability, look at those long arms. And look, it's in slow motion, but he looks like he's on another speed as opposed to the other people. 13th on Minnesota's list of receiving yards, and that's why, because his yards after catch.
For his career, close to 19 yards per catch for Ellerson. 1st and 10. Barber off left tackle. Barber into the secondary inside the 30 to 25. And taken out of bounds by Boomer Grigsby around the 23.
This is what makes this offense so good. You stop the run, Barber, you stop him, or Maroney, whoever's in there, and then they come back with 2 consecutive plays to the receivers, and this opens up. You see good blocking there. They're locking up on people, forcing them outside. The receivers also do a good job blocking down the field. You force Boomer Grigsby to make plays.
And look at the numbers from last week. 418 yards gained, just 3 yards lost.
Unbelievable. 415-yard net last week against Toledo.
Somebody must have stumbled on the carpet. Barber, oh, terrific cut. Plenty of room inside the 5. James Temple saves the touchdown. It's 1st and goal, Golden Gophers.
I talked about ESP, and I don't mean having telepathy, but the right guard blocking sets up that explosion of speed and power. You're going to see just good blocking everybody down. Then you see also getting up to the linebacker. Grigsby can't make the play. Just nobody there to make the defense. And if you get to the 3rd level, which Barber can do with his speed, then his power takes over. Great job right there by Brandon Hairston. Good blocking.
On 1st and goal, they'll try it up the middle with the fullback, Justin Valentine. Denied by a host of defenders, including Boomer Grigsby. And Watkins and Caesar up from the secondary.
And this is where you get into a situation where you have the defensive front, or these guys are going to play. They're going to play. A lot of people get hit right there by Grigsby. But the key question to it is, how long can they sustain that? Because Minnesota is a much bigger team, and if they have to stay on the field too long, it's not going to bode well late in the game.
2nd and goal. Cupido rolling to the right, firing for the touchdown. Jared Ellerson.
That was a very good play back in that. The reason why is because Cupido could have thrown that ball sooner. Ellerson was open, but he waited. He waited till he found an open window to throw it into. And when he saw Ellerson get past the last defender, he fired the ball in there. This is all set up by the running of Barber Maroney. And then you see no pressure there, and he waits, and then the last second he throws it right when he gets outside of the defender. Good throw and catch by those 2 guys.
Extra point is good from Lloyd to tie it up at 7 apiece. 6:27 to go in the 1st quarter. First touchdown of the season for Jared Ellison. 2 yards from Brian Cupido. There is that Minnesota offensive line looking very strong on that last touchdown drive. In particular, Brandon Harston with one of the big blocks. There's a good look at Harston. Oh, they put down Johnson right at the 15-yard line. Terrence Campbell was the first man there.
Not only did he take out the wedge guy, but he hit him so far back that it knocked him. It just discombobulated everything.
Ellerson got the touchdown. Barber did a lot of the work on the ground. But back to Harston. He's a converted D lineman. Make Papa proud on that one. His dad Mike played with the Chicago Bears in the NFL. That offensive line so integral to their success. We'll talk a lot about them today.
That's a nice little mean streak to him, and you can see that on that particular drive, really getting after it.
1st and 10 for the Redbirds from the 16-yard line. Yance Vaughn, 3-step drop, the pump fake, looking deep, and incomplete across midfield, intended for Robinson. Banks had the coverage. That's what we were talking about with the transfers, and obviously on the right-hand side, some pretty impressive names that these guys have transferred from.
You look at Pierre Jackson, who was here at Minnesota, now moved to cornerback just a week ago. But look at the long list of players. Joe Walker said his name quite a bit. Brian Thompson, a running back out of Iowa State. So they have a long list of guys that have played at different places and felt like, hey, I can go to Illinois State and get a chance to play right away.
2nd and 10. Vaughn will try to go over the top again. Robinson, and the flag coming down on the coverage by Yuki Dozier, the 5th-year senior out of Bradenton, Florida.
That's one of those ones you throw up and just hope you can get your guy to go and catch it. If not, hopefully they'll call a penalty. And that's exactly what they do. They just try to throw it up high. Yuki Dozier, if he keeps turning around and goes after the football, may not be a penalty on him, but he's locked up in there with the receiver. You have a right as a defender if you show that you're actually going for the football. If your back stays turned, they're going to call that every single time.
We talked to Denver Johnson during the week. We said, well, how do you go about getting a lot of these transfer guys to come in? And he said, well, it's a couple of different things. We may have an old high school teammate of a guy on our club, or somebody may make a phone call back to their high school coach, and we have a relationship with that high school coach, and that's how we hear about guys, or they hear about us.
Being around, coach at Oklahoma State, and just understanding how the dynamics of college football works, he knows that he doesn't have as many scholarships to offer, but still has the pipeline of guys that get somewhere and aren't happy because they're not getting an opportunity to play.
And in the Gateway Conference, which they claim to be the top 1AA conference in the country, you can't really argue with them. Southern Illinois is the new #1 ranked team in the country out of the Gateway Conference. So 1st and 10 after the penalty from the 35-yard line. They'll go right back to the same play, and Robinson goes up, had it for a moment, and then Dozier knocked it away.
They saw something in film this week to say we can go after Yuki Dozier. They tried it against Banks once, didn't work, and now they've gone consecutive times. 1 penalty and 1 pass breakup. That was a good play by Yuki Dozier. Same exact play. We're going to come at you again. Laurent Robinson almost comes back with it, but Yuki Dozier keeps with it. This is why you have to have confidence as a defensive back. Look, at the last possible second, I'm taking it away from you. Nope.
He had some words, too, for the Illinois State bench on the way back to the huddle. Don't try that again on me. 5th-year senior. The draw. Johnson across the 45. Banks trying to catch him from behind, and he does at the 21-yard line.
Can you say, look at me now? I was here, but you didn't want me to play, so I'm going somewhere else. This is set up by those 3 consecutive pass plays. Now, the defensive line is working outside, and they work against them. They work inside. Now, Demetrius Johnson with a good move there. That should be a tackle right there. You missed the tackle there, and it looks for a long run. Justin Fraley misses that tackle, and look at it. You've got to have wrap up. This was happened earlier with Ramon Barber to Tremaine Banks. Missed tackle. This is a good run by Demetrius Johnson. Good blocking up front by that Illinois State offensive line.
Demetrius amped up to be back here in Minnesota. When we talked to him this week, he said, you know what? I have no hard feelings. I like the coaching staff of Minnesota. I respect them. It was just a situation where I needed to go get some more time. And he's had a good showing so far. Timeout called by the Redbirds. This is what they did last week against St. Xavier. Johnson had 3 touchdowns and Vaughn threw for 2 more. And the defensive performance holding St. X to minus 55 yards rushing.
What's impressive about this is that, all week, Glenn Mason and his coaching staff have been saying, don't take these guys lightly. But it's kind of like when you have kids and you tell them don't do something. Until they experience it, they never really know. And you would expect that they would think, hey, Illinois State, we blew out Toledo last week. It's easy for 18 to 22-year-old guy to say, we got it right here. We got it all figured out. But this is like golf. I'm not very good at golf because I think every time I hit the ball well, I'm going to do this. And this is Minnesota defense. Thinking, hey, this is a monster defense. But if you just tackle, if you don't make plays, if you let the other guys do what Demetrius Johnson did here, you can be in the ball game or potentially lose the ball game because of it.
Coach Denver Johnson, 7 consecutive seasons that his teams have had a 1,000-yard rusher. Johnson is replacing Sharon Edwards, who was the Gateway Conference's leading rusher at over 1,000 yards last year. So Denver Johnson in this system, they're doing something right with their ground game. Or as he likes to say, we just scratch where it itches. Coach Johnson is full of great quotes and comments. An Oklahoma native. The pitch to Johnson. He's got some room again. Run out of bounds around the 10-yard line. It'll be first down and goal for the Redbirds.
It's very impressive what they're doing so far in this drive. They're actually using Minnesota's speed against them. You see how they work one way, come back the other. There's no one out there. Receivers are doing a very good job of blocking. Right there, you lock up Ramon Barber. Also down the field, you see just good blocking taking place because they work one way, come back the other. You use that speed of the Minnesota defense against them.
Banks and Reese made the stop. The Redbirds looking for the lead here in the first quarter. Vaughn with 4 receivers, looking again for Robinson up top, and it's intercepted. Trumaine Banks with the pick, and he's headed the other way. Banks out to the 20. Steve Stotts made the tackle, but Charles perhaps one time too many to that same play.
I don't like that call because you're running the ball well, you're doing things, throw some short passes. You can't go at these guys that many times. Banks and Dozier are going to get you. You keep going at them, sooner or later, they're going to come up and get you, and that's what happened there. The same play they tried to go to. If you're going to fade it, throw it outside. Get it away where only the end zone can make the play or the end line. Right there, just good job by Trumaine Banks.
Defensive coordinator Greg Hudson will be happy to see that. 2 of the things that they have really focused on this year, forcing turnovers and pressuring the quarterback and getting more sacks. They felt deficient in those areas last year. So now it's the Gophers. 1st and 10 from their own 20. The pitch to Lawrence Maroney. Picks up about 6 on the play. Grigsby was in on the stop again, along with William Roll. We've got some scores from around the country in the Big Ten for you. Iowa, a winner. They take the Cy Hawk Trophy, beating Iowa State 17-10. And Wisconsin beating UNLV 18-3. Michigan State topping Central Michigan 24-7. So a win for Kirk Ferentz's team. Barry Alvarez gets win number 101, and they do so without Anthony Davis, who is out for the next few weeks.
They always seem to struggle against UNLV. It's just a tough game for them. Mark Setterstrom is going to be the guilty party on this one.
And Michigan State able to bounce back from their loss to Rutgers last week too, Charles.
And actually, they call that against Greg Eslinger, the center. Hey, look at that, UCLA over Illinois.
35-17 for the Bruins. Maroney diving forward close to the first down marker, tripped up by Joe Watkins. Maroney and company starting to feel it after that last drive.
They really were. I mean, you get the ball out to Ellerson first. Nice slow run. And then also, too, good job blocking here downfield by the receivers and the linemen. And then a touchdown pass to Ellerson. Patient. Throw the football for the 6 points.
Now on 3rd and short. Cupido will give to Maroney, and Lawrence has the first down. Out to the 31. Under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Illinois State scoring first, Minnesota answering, and then the Redbirds on the verge of another touchdown. And the interception at the goal line by Trumaine Banks, getting the ball back for Minnesota.
And Beth, that could be a big swing for Illinois State, because you look at it, you have an opportunity, put the ball in, get some points of some sort, and you come away with nothing.
Brian Cupido is going to call a timeout here. Lots of early activity from the Big Ten. Arizona State beating Northwestern. So the Wildcats drop to 0-2 now on the season. Wow. Kyle Orton and Taylor Stubblefield in the gang putting up some big numbers. That's their 2nd consecutive game with over 50 points. As they rip Ball State.
We talked about Purdue earlier. You know, one of those schools like Minnesota, where they have the opportunity because of their offenses that's going to keep them in ball games. Now, how well they play in Big Ten play. You can see Michigan over Notre Dame, 3-0 there up in South Bend.
Ohio State with the early score on Marshall to go up 7-0. Yeah, Purdue is at Illinois in a couple of weeks. And then they have back-to-back trips to Notre Dame and Penn State before getting into the thick of their Big Ten schedule, which includes games at home against Michigan and Ohio State. So a lot of fans around the Big Ten with high hopes for success.
The Big Ten, the problem is so many of these teams beat up each other by the end of the season. Yeah. They're all worn out because it's a big matchup every single week.
On 1st and 10, Ellerson is in motion. Play action from Cupido. Looking deep for Wheelwright, has him out there, just overthrown inside the 30. Pierre Jackson, the Minnesota transfer, was back there on the coverage.
Pierre Jackson, the former wide receiver, moved him over to cornerback. You're going to see him play quite a bit because Antoine Oliver, who got nicked up a couple of weeks, well, last week, bruised ribs, is not going to be able to. They thought he could play this week, couldn't come back, so they moved Pierre Jackson over, and they're anticipating some good things out of him at the cornerback spot.
If I may quote Denver Johnson again, they've had buzzard luck with some of their freakish injuries, particularly in the secondary, where they've lost 3 potential starters for at least the next couple of weeks. Cupido almost stumbled trying to get it to Maroney, and good penetration into the secondary. William Roll. If you saw that Miami-Florida State game last night, or if you're a football fan in general, you'll recognize that surname, the Roll family, the extended family.
Just good.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, it is, and just good penetration. And that's the other thing. You talk about the guys out of Florida. They bring speed a lot of times to the table. Immokalee, Florida, where Edgerrin James is from, his brother and cousin have both played at the Illinois State program, so they're getting that Florida connection to Illinois State.
Yeah, Williams' cousin Antrell was big for the Miami defense last night, and another cousin Samari is in the NFL with the Titans. Flag on the play with 2:51 to go in the first. There's some movement up front for Minnesota.
This is one thing you don't want to beat yourself, and that's one of the things with Glenn Mason coach teams that are very good at not beating themselves. He has to be just livid with the amount of penalties and mistakes they're making. I mean, this is not characteristic of a Minnesota team where they come out and make this many mistakes this early in the ball game.
Well, that'll set them back. They've had several occasions here of 3rd and long. This will be 3rd and 18. From the 24, they've got to get out to the 42-yard line for the first down. Cupido forced out, and the pass incomplete. Good coverage out there again by Jackson and Roll on Ernie Wheelwright.
Mitch Browning, the offensive coordinator, was saying that, you know, he's anticipating a lot of teams to come and blitz you. But you're not going to see Illinois State do a whole lot of blitzing. They're going to rely on their front four and then play 8 men in the box and challenge you to throw against them. Now, with this offense, you have to be careful. But so far, they've done a pretty good job of holding this vaunted Minnesota offense in check.
So on 4th and 18, Lloyd will punt it away. Kyle Hill is back deep. And he will take it at the 36 and is immediately brought down. Good coverage back there by Amir Penix. Well, the penalties definitely hurting Minnesota. Just one last week. They have had 5 already here in the first quarter.
Want to make adjustments. That's one of the first things you can say. Penalties and missed tackles and just really lethargic play that they really had. Look at last week. Prime example. 1 penalty, 0 turnovers. They haven't had any of those yet, but a touchdown on the first 6 possessions. And today they've had to punt more than they would have liked, I'm sure.
Yeah, Lloyd's already punted 3 times today. Vaughn looking for Robinson, obviously his favorite target out near the 40. Coverage by Yuki Dozier.
On the goal line that last time, those were the kind of passes that I anticipated them throwing. Those quick slants where you use that leverage that the Minnesota defenders are going to play you outside, and you can get inside. It's a safer throw.
Justin Fuente, the offensive coordinator, real high on Laurent, says he picks things up so quickly. He's such an intelligent young man. They only have to show him things once, and he grabs hold of it. Barber's in motion here on 2nd and 6. They will roll out Vaughn. He's got some blockers in front of him, and he'll run out of bounds just shy of the first down mark. Actually, he may have picked it up across the 47.
Good play by Vaughn. He struggled with some hamstring injuries, and that's been the reason why. He's been in the system for a while, but really couldn't get healthy, and that's the one knock on him. But this year, they say he's really worked with the strength and conditioning coach in the offseason, really worked on trying to get those hamstrings stronger and more flexible so he could play a full season.
Sometimes, Charles, those new quarterbacks, it takes a while for the rest of the team to get behind them and get believing in them. The coaching staff was telling us everybody is rooting for Vaughn because they've seen him struggle and work so hard throughout the course of his career for this opportunity. They are unified behind him and have been so since the first day of practice. As Johnson was bottled up, they have lost one on the play. Brandon Owens, the free safety who has bumped up and moved into one of the linebacker spots. A sophomore from Delray Beach who played last year as a true freshman.
You're seeing a lot more of that, those guys, and you see defense right now not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Well, that Demetrius Johnson run early in this game puts him on pace to maybe break that record. But when you see a lot more of these free safety, strong safety types that are moving down the linebacker, because in the league at 225, 230, that's not too small.
Yeah, Johnson's got 57 yards here in the first quarter. Putting a nice block on Reed that enables Vaughn to complete the pass to Wallace at midfield for a short pickup.
Well, this all happens because good blocking by Demetrius Johnson on Darrell Reed. It allows Vaughn to have time on those out routes. You play against their leverage, their inside leverage. You run up to them on that inside shoulder, work out. It's an easy throw and catch for Vaughn to make, and that's the confidence level that he's getting every single week.
And that was to Kyle Hill. He's working for us, pulling some cables. He'd much rather be doing those push-ups that he does after the Golden Gopher score. Timeout called by Illinois State with 24 seconds to go here in the quarter. We've been watching Brian Cupido at quarterback today for Minnesota. His first year as a starter. That's one of the storylines around the Big Ten Conference. Some of the numbers that the new guys put up in the first week. A lot of 2-touchdown performances for that group. And Michigan's Chad Henne is getting the start again today against Notre Dame, the true freshman.
Well, you got to figure, if you're Chad Henne or Brian Cupido, the receiving core that you have, and then also some of these other schools, Iowa with Drew Tate, you figure they have guys that can make plays. So even if they're young and you just take your time and don't try to do too much and don't outthink yourself, I mean, that is what's going to help you be good when the Big Ten season starts, and maybe even great if you just do what you're supposed to do.
Let's go back to last weekend and the play of Brian Cupido in the win against Toledo. And his passing efficiency numbers were off the charts.
He showed the ability with the deep ball. I mean, that was what's so impressive. Hitting guys in stride and then really commanding the offense, running play action passing, good ball handling ability to get the ball down the field. What makes this pro right here work, he works outside and comes back to that seam route to the tight end. And those are the kind of plays you have to have if you're going to win Big Ten ball games.
So now on 3rd and 8 from the 50. The draw to Johnson, and he's got it. And is stuck at the 41 by Pavelski.
Wow.
Big time hit by the junior.
And that was a good run by Johnson. But that was an awesome hit by Pavelski. He just comes in and just lays a hammer. Johnson never sees him because he's looking the other way, and he's working away from the other defender and runs right into, he's working from Wojciechowski and works right into Pavelski. Ow. Woo.
Maybe able to pick up the oohs and ahs from the fans here at the Metrodome. They keep showing that over and over. They got the TiVo working on the big Jumbotron here. But it's good news for Illinois State. It was enough to pick up the first down. And the first quarter complete here at the Metrodome. Illinois State and Minnesota all tied up at 7.
I have to read the Wall Street Journal every day. If I don't, I feel I've missed something.
Currently, I'm looking at different businesses, and I've used the Wall Street Journal as a jumping off point.
Didn't know how you know, who you tip, who you don't, how do you deal with those types of things. And there's a whole article with a grid on how you handle all of that. So cut it out, stuck it on the refrigerator, and used that.
A couple of weeks ago, I looked at camera equipment relative to an article that I had read in the Wall Street Journal, and I remember reading something about a particular product and went to the electronics store to look for that product, in fact.
There's stuff that I read about, articles about large businesses or small businesses, and the things that they're doing to succeed, and then I try and take that and apply that to my little company.
The most surprising thing about the Journal, I like to read it.
Get early morning delivery of the Journal for just 45 cents a day. That's 50% off the regular rate. Call 800-238-5300. That's 800-238-5300 for the Wall Street Journal.
This is your soul plane chauffeur.
Now on DVD, the party is non-stop.
I'm gonna have me some fun on this plane.
Soul Plane. Get the unrated DVD today.
If you're getting married, we'll rent you a tuxedo for as little as $50, which is pretty good, considering her dress probably costs as much as your car.
Rent 4 tuxedos, and the groom's is free.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
This is the one sales event you've been waiting for, the Ford Authorized Clearance. Right now, get over $7,700 in total savings on Ford Explorer, or lease one for just $229 a month. Ford Explorer, the one SUV that outsells every other SUV. Now it's the one with over $7,700 in total savings, or a lease payment of just $229 a month. This is the one sales event you don't want to miss, the Ford Authorized Clearance. This is the one. Ask the experts at your Northland Ford dealer.
Volkswagens have tight suspension, so they take turns really well.
Yeah.
Watch, after you enter this turn, accelerate.
Accelerate?
Yeah, you'll feel the car pull you through.
Okay.
See how everyone else is braking?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you feel the control?
I can really feel that.
Want to find out what makes a Volkswagen? Come drive it. You'll get it.
To start the second quarter, Big Ten football, and number 24, Minnesota, all tied up with Illinois State. An impressive first quarter for the Redbirds, and they are on the move once again. 1st and 10 from the Gopher 41-yard line. And they'll be close to another first down here around the 30. Laurent Robinson stopped by Justin Fraley. They've scored once, Charles. They were knocking on the door one other time and then had the turnover, and now here they go again.
Well, what they're really doing is playing against the speed of Minnesota and really working against them. You can see Kyle McKenzie coming in there, missing that tackle inside, really working through. Good blocking, but right here you can see the penalties have been one of the keys, and also the rushing yards for Illinois State, which is outstanding when you consider this defense has held people under 100, or no individual has gotten 100 in 15 games.
More total offense than Minnesota in that first half. Not much room there for Demetrius Johnson on 1st and 10.
The passing yards are a little bit surprising as well. I mean, they have really been able to throw the ball, but you can look at it last week. Toledo had a lot of yards, didn't do much with them, whereas Minnesota was really able to come back and get some good 700-some yards. That's outstanding.
From the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Illinois State and 24th ranked Minnesota. A tight matchup thus far. Yance Vaughn in his first season as a starter out of the shotgun. He'll drop it off to Johnson, scoots to the outside, and run out of bounds around the 20-yard line. Pavelski pushed him out of bounds. And Illinois State close to another first down.
And all they're really doing is just working against Minnesota where they want to. Darrell Reed, you're going to see Johnson work on Reed and just work outside. Vacate an area, pick up an area. And then you see good blocking out front by Steve Stotts. And that's what's the key. Stafford Davis going outside also. The big lineman working down the field. Now they're going to call that back because of a penalty. But
it's going to be a holding penalty on Illinois State.
Steve
spotted the foul.
He was out in front.
Repeat.
Gets a hold of the jersey. But those are the kind of plays that you have to continue to do. You have to manufacture those kind of plays. Even if you come back with penalties, keep attacking instead of being passive and letting them attack you.
That'll bring the ball back out to the 34-yard line, 2nd and 14. Vaughn. Larson is the H-back. Johnson coming out of the backfield. The pass caught by Barber, tries to juke Dozier, and is wrapped up around the ankles by Justin Fraley right around the 30. They get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Barber has shown a good ability to do some things with yards after catch. He really makes some things happen. As soon as he catches the football, he's always looking for a way out, always looking for an escape.
He may have picked up some valuable information over the summer. Ramon Barber worked out down in Florida with Chris Carter, the former Viking great, and Larry Fitzgerald, the sensation out of the University of Pittsburgh last year. So now on 3rd down, Vaughn rolls out of the pocket, tucks it in, gonna run for it, and dives close to the first down marker. Mike Wojciechowski was there defensively, and it looks like the spot will be short for the first down marker.
Well, Mike Larson is out there blocking out in front. He just doesn't have anything, so he works outside, getting around. Now, the Minnesota coaches wanted to hold on Anthony Montgomery, but watch right here, good look. He gets knocked out of bounds. Wojciechowski is able to knock him down right before he gets to that yellow pylon, or that orange pylon.
Good stick by the former walk-on. And Illinois State will go for it on 4th and 1. And now Minnesota will call a timeout. So big decision here in the early moments of the second quarter for Denver Johnson, going for it on 4th down. We'll be back after this.
When the world's just waking up, I'm already out on the road. There's the Beckers. Our kids play ball together. That's the new industrial park we just built lines into. If you work for a local electric co-op, you're part of the community, just like everybody else. You make every customer feel like they own the business you work for. Because in an electric co-op, they do.
Shine as one.
Did you fill up the tank?
The new Silverado half-ton crew has more standard horsepower, more torque, and more towing capacity than Ford or Dodge.
This never happened.
Chevy Silverado, an American revolution.
Well, looky here. A wall, a boundary, a limit. Something to keep us in our place and out of theirs. A wall is the only thing preventing me from frolicking barefoot in my neighbor's petunias. You know where they keep division titles, don't you? On the other side of a wall. Right about here. Independent race, every fan counts. The Minnesota Twins.
Saturday, September 18th, the first 15,000 fans receive a limited edition Don Russ Joe Mauer rookie baseball card.
I'm really surprised if you look at this bet that they're not going to go for the field goal. They missed an opportunity for points earlier, and right here, this is not a good call to me. You should go for the 3.
4th and 1 from the 21. Vaughn, and flags fly on the snap. Well, they have a good place kicker in Stephen Carroll. In fact, he's one of the best in the country.
Prior to the snap.
And this is what happens. If you're going to try to get
Number
the defense
75
outside,
on the
you
offense.
tell your guys a whole walk. Now, this hurts you because you lose 5 yards. You lose the 5 yards, and the right side of the line, Janiah, Dave Downing, and Matt Pazdek are going to move.
Yeah.
And actually, the center, everybody on the line moved, I should say, but they're going to pick one guy.
Well, they
were all moving before the snap.
They just made the decision here for Denver Johnson. It's now Stephen Carroll will come on to attempt the field goal. 43 yards for Carroll. And it is no good. Wide to the right. Illinois State comes up empty again. And we're still tied at 7.
Lifetime warranty Crestline windows and patio doors from Menards, and don't pay till spring. All stock and special order Crestline wood and vinyl windows and patio doors, even custom sizes, are 12% off. Give your floors a new look with media vinyl flooring, new by Tarkett, featuring fast adhesive-free installation and a no-wax urethane surface. On sale in 4 patterns, just 77 cents a square foot. You'll be floored by the savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Seems every day someone promises you a faster way to the internet. But when it comes to delivering serious speed, no one offers you more than Roadrunner High-Speed Online from Time Warner Cable. Instead of high-speed hype, get Roadrunner for a high-speed service that's easy to get, easy to use, and always delivers high speed.
Call 1-800-ROADRUNNER and get your first 6 months at $29.95 per month.
Roadrunner High-Speed Online. Your world is always on.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hiya! Those guts were fast as lightning.
Wherever you're going, you'll feel really good riding with Geico.
Everybody was kung fu.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Let's take another look at the kick here from Carroll, and this was after the 5-yard penalty.
Well, you can see getting in there, getting those big paws up. Eric Clark looks like he may have even affected it, but once again, even still, 5 yards makes a big difference.
So now it's 1st and 10 Golden Gophers. The pitch will go to Marion Barber. And he just muscles his way out to the 30. Boomer Grigsby lowering the boom, the senior out of Canton, Illinois, the most decorated player in Illinois State history. A 2-time All-American. And he loves to talk about Ray Lewis. He says, I love the way that Ray Lewis plays. If I could play anywhere like that or close to that, I'd be doing my job.
Well, he really plays well, plays around the football, and is always in position, even in passing plays. That's why they like him, and that's why he is so effective.
Contact across the line by Jarek Thomas. And the redshirt freshman will quickly be pulled out for a discussion with the coaching staff. And let's see if Vance Weiss goes and adds a few words for him, the O-line coordinator.
And Ron Lambert is getting on him right away.
Or the D-line coordinator, sorry, Ron Lambert, yep.
number 94 on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains second down.
Oh, man. Well, Chris Patton, the defensive line coach, has some words. You know, that's the thing. When you get in trouble, everybody gets on you. First off, your teammates. Watch the teammates look at him. God, doggone it. You can't do that. Then when he runs off on the sideline, the coaches get on him. Then he has to sit there and nobody talks to him. That's not fair.
2nd and 1 now from the 35. Barber is the lone setback. He's got the first down out across the 40. Grigsby again pushes him out. Got some help coming up from the secondary as well. Alex Fillin.
That was a good thing there. Maroney goes over to Grigsby and pats him on the back. That's one of the things, signs that show of, hey, I respect how you play the game.
Check back in with the Fighting Irish and the Wolverines. Michigan up 6-zip in the second quarter. And Ohio State up a touchdown on Marshall. The Buckeyes and the Wolverines, the two teams out of the Big Ten ranked in the top 10 this week. Cupido, Heat coming from behind, ball knocked loose. Brent Hawkins leading the charge.
Good play off the corner. I mean, just coming around there, making that play. You know, those are the kind of things you have to see out of these young guys. And you get off the snap and you beat your man, and then you just attack the quarterback. Good job of getting after the rock, making it come out. Now, doesn't have a chance to get to it, but just good beating his man off the line of scrimmage. That's just Ryan Belander, who's a very good defensive player, just allowing Brent Hawkins to come around that corner and just make the play.
Mark Setterstrom jumped on the loose ball. 2nd and long. Cupido almost intercepted. Stepping into the passing lane was Nick Passarelli, who had 4 tackles and a sack last week, the debut for the true freshman out of Naperville, Illinois.
Ron Lambert said we may play 22 different guys, maybe even more, because we have to stay fresh. And you can see Pasquarelli, the backup Grover, in that position. We talk about walking up inside the numbers, inside of that box area, tackle to tackle. He's able to work outside, make a nice pass breakup.
One of their main goals today, stop the run to make Minnesota throw the ball, and their pass defense has been solid thus far, but wide open as I say that. At the ISU 45 is Jakari Wallace, and very close to the first down marker, and they will move the sticks, so a big gain on 3rd and long.
Jakari Wallace had a big play earlier that was called back, but he has a chance to come back and make another one. Big 3rd down catch. You know, when you have that opportunity, the middle of the field is going to be open if they're bringing all that pressure. Make the throw, make the catch. Good job picking up the first down.
Maroney gets the carry, tripped up after a short game.
And Beth, it just doesn't look like Minnesota has ever gotten into a comfortable rhythm, either on offense or defense. It's just like they're uncomfortable, like sleeping in a hotel bed that's just not your own. It seems like these guys just aren't quite able to get comfortable, and you can relate to that as well as I can from last night.
Robert Taylor on the stop. They are really high on this youngster, a high school parade All-American. Shot the gap on that one to shut down Maroney. They'll try again going to the left side. Good blocking in front of Lawrence. And he is inside the 35-yard line. Again, it was Esslinger, the pulling center, leading the way.
And he does a very good job of this. Maroney looks like he's a little bit shaken up. But Esslinger, we talked about him in the open. The ability to come in as a 240-pound guy, came to camp, and nobody really recruited him that heavily. And you're going to see big 61. It's hard for centers to move all that mass. At 295 pounds, boom, good cut down, blocking out front. Let's give Ernie Wheelwright some credit, too, for creating that space, that big lane for Maroney to run through.
The co-offensive coordinator, Mitch Browning, a lot of praise for the wide receivers in their blocking. As Barber is cut down by Joe Watkins at about the 25.
And I like the fact, though, we talked about being uncomfortable and not in rhythm. It's not because they're not trying to. Illinois State is putting them, making them uncomfortable. This is a nice play here by Barber, of getting over the top and then just leaping and taking the hit and coming down still in stride.
Barber now 9 rushes for 71 yards here in the first half. He'll get the call again. He'll add to that total and more. Inside the 10, down the sideline. And First and goal, Golden Gophers.
You talk about, you just see him jumping over people and then running by people, stiff arming, just nice ability. And what I think happens too when you see Maroney and Barber play, they help each other out because one's on the sideline thinking, okay, if I have this situation, this is what I'm going to do. And the other one says, well, if I have this situation, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't think they compete, but it is a healthy competition when you have two very good, solid running backs.
First and goal from the 5. Barber takes it up the middle and scores. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Just once again, you work outside, come back inside. There's a big hole there. It's coming off the center, Esslinger, Brandon Harston, and Mark Settlestrom. When you have those 3 interior guys, the center guards and the 2 guards, and then also the tackle. Look at Esslinger moving over. There's good protection, good cutoff on the backside by the tight end. It creates a big running lane and a touchdown.
Lloyd's extra is good. 14-7. Marion Barber III continues to creep closer to his dad for second place on the all-time touchdown list. Minnesota on top for the first time this afternoon, leading Illinois State 14-7 after the impressive scoring drive capped off by the Barber touchdown. And here comes Demetrius Johnson. Dropped it at the 19 and then fell on it.
Those wedge busters for Minnesota. I mean, that's the second time you got to see Terrence Campbell just come through, and he just forces the returner to go where he really doesn't want to go.
Minnesota scoring drive as you take a look at Lawrence Maroney and Marion Barber, both instrumental in that drive. Barber capping it off with the touchdown run, the 27th of his career.
Pretty impressive numbers if you compare him to your father.
His father with 34 career touchdowns. Darrell Thompson has the top spot with 40. Robinson makes the catch at the 27 and is popped by Kyle McKenzie.
When you first saw that play happening, I didn't think it would be a chance there. You see those 2 guys always, they didn't start off being friends though. Didn't know if they liked each other too much, but have grown and understood, matured together, and really have helped each other out tremendously.
Marion is 4 yards short of the 100-yard mark for the game, with still over 7.5 minutes to go here in the first half. And again, it's McKenzie in on the hit.
Well, when you have a brother that's played in the league and then an uncle that's played in the league, Reggie McKenzie, from the old electric company with the Buffalo Bills, I mean, he knows how to play football. They move him from outside to inside, so he's still learning the new position where they're coming at you from all angles. But they like how he plays the game of football, the coaches.
Taking over for Ben West in the middle.
This is just a good football play. I mean, you give it to the big guy, Mike Larson, but you see McKenzie closing on that. Defensive line coach Tom Sims talks about him, raves about how well he plays the game and just really gets after it.
Vaughn incomplete on the throw at 3rd and short.
And what you see now is a real strong ability with these guys of working through some different things. Now they're at 4th and 1, and it looks like they're going to actually 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah, they changed the. They didn't catch up on the scoreboard with the down and distance.
But what's happening, Minnesota's playing a lot tougher, a lot closer, and you can see the defense now hyped up by that score that they had on that last drive for the offense.
So it is 2nd and 10 from the 29. Vaughn, and it is intercepted by Banks, but there's a penalty flag down. The officials will quickly huddle to talk it over.
Looks like it's going to be in the variety of the defense. Let's let them make that call. was a good interception, though. Good catch by Banks.
He was involved in a real heated battle for the starting job, a freshman All-American a year ago, but Jamal Harris came in and was really pushing Trumaine for the starting job. And Banks used experience as his biggest ally, the coaches were telling us.
By the defense.
And played much better in the fall than he did in the spring. And the penalty will go against Minnesota, and it will take away the interception.
Right here, just a good play of getting under, but that push right there is where they're going to call that. But my thought on that is if you're the defender, you have a right to go after the football. You just can't run through the receiver, and that's what the officials are going to call. Not only are they calling it closer in the pros, they're also calling that closer in college this year as well.
Minnesota 6 penalties now for 36 yards. Earl Newby with his first carry of the day. And Terrence Campbell makes the stop, the 3-year starter out of Atlanta, Georgia. Newby is a sophomore out of Florida.
Minnesota has done a very good job of recruiting guys all over the country, but you look at Illinois State's roster, lined up with a lot of different people from all over. You know, not just Illinois, but a lot from Florida, quite a few from Texas and other places.
2nd down and 6. Newby gets the call again, nowhere to go. It's Anthony Montgomery with the tackle.
Minnesota's defensive line is doing a much better job now of shifting right before the snap. It looks like it's confusing the offensive line. They shift right at the last second, and then the offensive line is not able to pick up guys, and you see people are running free. Anthony Montgomery being one of them on that play.
Anthony, the junior from Cleveland, dropped 20 pounds this year, cut fast food out of his diet, and it's made him a little faster, putting some pressure on the quarterback. 3rd down and 6. Caught by Larson coming out of the backfield across the 46-yard line, and they'll move the chains. The 3rd down conversion for Yance Vaughn.
Darrell Reed was in there so quick, I thought he was going to get a chance to get the Yance Vaughn, but he was able to get the ball off a lot quicker. You see this defensive line being hyped up by their line coach, telling them every time they've come off the field, I've watched what they're doing, and they're really working now to get after the quarterback because they're not going to blitz a lot. But what they have to do is provide pressure, but Vaughn has been able to throw even with that pressure on his face.
1st and 10 from their own 42. Vaughn with the pump fake. Under pressure, and he goes down. Anthony Montgomery finished up what Darrell Reed started.
On the last play, Darrell Reed was in the quarterback's face, Vaughn, before he threw the football. This time, there was no chance of him throwing. Darrell Reed forces him to his buddy, and that is why that play happens. And those two guys, you have to have pressure from your defensive linemen. Their motors have to be running. Darrell Reed's blocked, but he gets up, and look at that. Also, Anthony Montgomery, the same. Really able to keep going after the quarterback. Keep going until you find the result, and the result is a quarterback sack.
Reed utilizing that speed to get in to put the pressure on. 2nd down and 19. On the completion to Robinson, but Banks gives him nowhere to go. Another big hit by Trumaine.
And this Minnesota defense is playing at a whole nother speed right now. I think we talked about rhythm and not being comfortable, but Illinois State had a chance to score some points. They didn't get any, but now you're starting to see Minnesota smelling it a little bit more.
You almost wonder, Charles, if the Redbirds missed their opportunity. They had a terrific chance to put 10 points on the board and came up empty.
And at least 6. You know, if they kick a field goal there, they don't get a touchdown, and they come back on the other side and score as well.
3rd and a whole bunch. The draw. Demetrius Johnson to midfield. That won't be enough. Pavelski, one of the first guys there.
I'm sure Pavelski and Johnson had some matchups when they were at Minnesota together, and they're starting to show it again.
We are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis for Big Ten football. 24th ranked Minnesota with their hands full this afternoon with Illinois State. The Redbirds jumped out to the 7-0 lead. And Minnesota has come back to take the lead here with 3:20 to go in the first half. And Ryan Hoffman will boot it away. Barber is back at his own 10-yard line. And it drops inside the 5 and is down there by the Redbirds. Jason Horton downs it at the 3. A touchdown lead for Minnesota. Back to Minneapolis after this. Minnesota leading Illinois State 14-7. Greg Hudson in that defensive unit looking for more sacks. They got one today. Looking for more turnovers. They got one today. The Banks interception right at the goal line. And did an effective job at shutting down Illinois State on their last possession. And now the Golden Gopher offense with a long way to go, starting inside their 5-yard line. Cupido throwing out of the end zone. Going deep. Ellerson trying to run on. And the coverage was there from Joe Watkins.
Pretty impressive how Cupido can throw the deep ball, but that's a good defense by Watkins of just running back, staying the furthest back. Now he forces Ellerson not to be able to stay on that train track to run and go get to the ball, but he also looks like he's going after the football. Good no call right there by the officials.
A fullback Valentine comes to the sideline, leaving Maroney alone in the backfield. Lawrence with 33 yards so far on the day. Good cutback by Maroney to get across the 5. Gang tackled there once again. Boomer Grigsby at the bottom of the deck with Jesse Caesar.
Kyle Stewart was the first guy in there, redshirt freshman, Nashville, Tennessee. He's a little bit shaken up, but he has been in the backfield almost every single play, just rushing in. Now they're bringing William Roll in, and Grigsby is there to clean it up. Once again, undersized group, but very quick and physical and get after it.
Playing with some toughness today, even though they're outsized against the Golden Gophers. A 1AA school up against Minnesota. Bobbled. Did Grigsby get the interception? And the official says no, it was down on the ground.
I think the speed factor, though, for Illinois State has probably surprised Minnesota a little bit, because every time they think they're out in the open, it's right here. I mean, the ball pops out and Grigsby's trying to go after it. Clearly the ball is on the ground. Doesn't get to it, but Anthony Philin with a nice big stick to knock Jakari Wallace away from the football.
There's Galen Scott. Or check that. Ron Lambert. Reese Lloyd out of his own end zone to Kyle Hill, chasing him back to his own 41-yard line. And Hill barely gets across the 45. Kyle McKenzie with the tackle. And there is Lambert.
Got to be happy with how his defense is playing. I mean, you would think that, and Antoine Oliver just walked by the picture at the low part of the screen as well, the safety that they want to have in there. But Lambert said, hey, got to play well. We just need to play our game and don't worry about who we're playing against. In Minnesota, they put on their pants like we do. He said, hey, and you can see him over there talking to Kyle Stewart. You can tell the intensity that he has for the game, and I think it's carried over to that defensive unit.
52 yards on the punt from Reese Lloyd. Illinois State will take over at their own 46 with Yance Vaughn. Just his 7th game, only his 2nd start. But the coaching staff raving about his poise and his leadership abilities with this Redbird team. And Denver Johnson, first and foremost, hoping that he can keep Vaughn healthy this year, as there was movement on the offensive line. Yance has struggled with injuries throughout his career.
It remains first down.
His dad was a terrific quarterback, terrific All-American, I should say, at Oklahoma. Played with the New York Giants for a while. And after 4 years of watching and waiting, the 5th-year senior making the most of his chance here on the big stage in Minneapolis. Vaughn will dump it off to Johnson. He's got a lot of room close to midfield. Justin Fraley and Terrence Campbell. We've been calling out Campbell's name quite a bit.
Got to be in a hurry-up mode now with 1 minute and 40 seconds, but they're really trying to get some things going, positive yards, Beth, like you said earlier. points should be on the board for Illinois State. They didn't capitalize on 2 opportunities.
Had a pass picked off on the goal line, and then Carroll missed the 43-yarder. All alone, up the middle is Larson, inside the 25. And Illinois State keeps the chains moving. 1:23 to go in the half.
Larson comes out of the backfield. He plays H-back, he plays fullback, he plays tight end. They've been trying to set this one up all day in that cover 2 look. Get him down the field. You can see he's wide open. A very good utility player because he's so effective in all phases of the game.
Vaughn's pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for Robinson, but Eric Clark got a paw up there on it.
If you're Minnesota's defense, you have to be worried because you've given up quite a bit of yards, not only last week, but this week. And you haven't, you know, you look at it, Illinois State has hurt themselves. Toledo was in the same situation. They've been trying to get these guys to understand. You got a lot of people playing a new position, so there's some uncomfort level there. But also, you're just not making the plays when you have an opportunity to make the plays.
Horton and Hill go wide to the left, Robinson to the right on 2nd and 10. Vaughn going for the end zone. And it's caught for the touchdown. Jason Horton getting behind Trumaine Banks for the score, and Illinois State has a chance to tie it up with 1:09 to go in the half.
Beth, we talked about it last night. What's between those 2 ears is what's important. And mentally speaking, right now, Illinois State believes that they're a Division 1A school. They don't care who they're playing against, and they're showing that. Right now, in this first half, they've come out with more intensity and really have won the matchup battle against Minnesota.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Yance Vaughn. This time it's to Jason Horton, the redshirt freshman. 4 plays, they go 54 yards.
You see right here, just opportunity when pressure is not applied. Good throw by Vaughn. And Banks again in a position where he could make a play, but Vaughn puts the ball here. Instead of throwing that short fade route, he gets it out there, and when Banks looks around, the ball is already on Horton.
22 yards on this touchdown strike.
Really set up by the nice play by Larson, who's celebrating right there on your screen. You know, big play, but you know, if you're Coach Mason, you have to be real concerned right now with this. This is not where you want to be.
This is a 1AA school, really taking it to the 24th ranked team in 1A. Tied up with Minnesota at 14 apiece with 1:09 to go here in the first half. Maroney and Barber are deep to receive the kick from Stephen Carroll. They haven't kicked it deep yet, and they won't do it again here, although Maroney comes up to the 20 to get it. Maroney across the 35, the 40, and taken down at the 42-yard line.
Marion Barber just had an outstanding block at the very beginning, which allowed Maroney to cut back to the other side. I mean, that is what you have to see. You see this graphic here, it makes sense. Illinois State is not, I mean, Minnesota is 7-0 all time. They beat Illinois State in 1999. But right now, you're not going to see a 55-7 score because Illinois State just seems to understand we are in a ball game right now. Minnesota does as well.
Exactly 1 minute to go in the half. Cupido, the draw. Barber gets out of bounds at midfield. Pickup of about 8 on the play. Stops the clock with 54 seconds.
You want to see how your team is going to react. If you're Glenn Mason, you want to say, okay, if these guys are going to respond the way we need them to respond. We know we have a good offense, but not every week is our offense going to be able to put up 63 points.
The offensive production has been much better. Their last 4 drives, a couple of scores. Barber now over 100 yards here in the first half with 103 on 12 carries. He gets the call again. Tiptoes down the sideline. Caesar forced him out.
Well, that's the scary thing. With Maroney or Barber, you got a home run hitter just waiting to happen. They can come out at any time and get the big play. good blocking here. Once again, Esslinger out front, good cut block right there, but also the receivers. Their receivers block so well. Richard Wilson does a great job with his wideout, saying, okay, we catch the ball, we run with the ball after we catch it. Well, if we're in the running game, we have to block for our running backs.
That was Ellerson with the block there. Now 1st and 10 from the 33. Cupido with 4 wideouts. Looking for Ellison. He's got his man for a 1st down. He steps out of bounds at the 22. Joe Watkins giving him a big cushion there.
You know, when you can run after the catch, but not only that, the way he runs the routes. He sets the route up, just takes it outside, comes back, and then when he has a chance, he's already out of bounds, but you can see him looking for, where can I go next? How can I be Houdini and escape out of this defensive back's hands?
First and 10, 42 seconds to go in the half. Cupido looking for Ellerson, caught at the 15. Ball down at the 11. Alan Gassessa and Passarelli on the stop.
Fortunate thing for Minnesota, the clock stops until they reset the chain, so you can be in a position. And for this offense, it gives you a chance to get in a position where you only have one time. Both teams have only one timeout, but in the college game, when you get a 1st down, the clock slows down until they set the chains.
Looking for Ellerson in the corner. Incomplete. He had Watkins draped all over him.
Watkins has done a very good job playing Ellerson, who is an outstanding receiver. He just works. He finds the ball, and then he runs to where the ball is, reaches up. Now, Ellerson almost comes up with a spectacular catch, but I think Watkins also finds the ball, and they try to both reach it at the height of attack.
Cupido's numbers today, including the 1 touchdown. A 2-yarder to Ellerson. They'll run it here with Barber. Marion Barber. Touchdown, Minnesota.
It might have been everyone on Illinois State's defense to touch him on that play. I think we're going to get one for celebration here.
Shed a bunch of blockers, and then the flag thrown in the end zone after Barber had gotten in.
You know, I don't know about that flag if it is on an excessive celebration, but I know one thing, Marion Barber, that was a nice individual 2nd, 3rd effort play.
If it stands here, his 2nd touchdown of the game. On a drive that took all of 41 seconds to move the ball down the field for the score.
After the play was over, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the offense.
Fans don't agree with that one. And that flag came practically as Barber was crossing the goal line.
Well, your offensive lineman going to celebrate. I didn't see anybody on the sideline. I just saw guys going over to congratulate their player.
Unless they thought the cannon was too close when it was fired over there in the corner of the end zone. Lloyd, extra point is blocked. Jarek Thomas got up there to block it.
And reached that big hand up. Jarek Thomas reaching right up there. And actually looks like Reese Lloyd just kicks it right into his hand. Even when Minnesota has done well, things have still not gone as well for him. I mean, it's just been one of those situations. This is a nice run by Marion Barber. Getting inside, making the spin move there like a point guard, and then just working off of his blocks, and then the last 2 making people miss. Just slides, and then shows the speed, shows the power. Very good running back, very good balance. Always move, his feet are never still, even when he's getting hit. Good base, not getting those feet crossed together so people can bring him down easily.
Unfortunately, I think that's the penalty right there, the celebration from Barber. And then the PAT is blocked, so it's just a 6-point lead. The scoring drive for Minnesota, 6 plays covering 57 yards in just shade under a minute. As the Golden Gophers regain the lead. A couple of touchdowns. Career numbers 27 and 28 now for Marion Barber.
Just keeps getting better and better. He and Maroney spell each other. They both work together and not giving each other, not anyone getting tired.
Kick goes over the head of Hill. And they'll still get it out across the 20 and run out at the 26 is Horton, who scored the touchdown. Yance Vaughn has a couple of touchdown throws today. Barber with the 2 scores. He's over 100 yards here in the first half.
You know, it's good, though. Every time we see the camera, those 2 guys are talking. They're talking about, hey, what's happening here? And they're working with each other. And that is where you say, do they really like each other and do they work together? Sometimes you see teammates on separate ends of the benches, but every time they come off the field, each one of them are talking to each other.
Handoff to Johnson as Illinois State will be more than happy to head into the locker room down by just 6. An impressive first half performance by the Redbirds to hang around. And at the intermission, 24th ranked Minnesota with the lead over Illinois State 20-14. Coming up at the half, we'll take a closer look at the Big Ten Conference, a little season preview for you, as well as scores from around the country. And a halftime report. Now we've got a preview of the Big Ten Conference for you, and we'll start out with the preseason favorites at the University of Michigan.
The Michigan Wolverines are odds-on favorites to repeat as Big Ten champs in 2004. With that said, head coach Lloyd Carr's biggest challenge will be replacing quarterback John Navarre, a 3-year starter, as well as All-American tailback Chris Perry. What he can rely on, however, is perhaps the best receiving corps in the nation, led by big play wideout Braylon Edwards, who's looking to become the first Wolverine pass catcher to rack up 1,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons.
It's definitely at the very back of my mind. You know, I have to say it that way for Coach Carr. The stipulations, no, but it's at the back of my mind. It's something that I know about. You know, so I know exactly where I'm at in terms of yards, receptions, touchdowns. But if I can pass that, that's cool. If not, that's cool as well. You know what I'm saying? As long as this team has a great season, I do everything I can to make it a great season and lead by example, then I'm okay with it.
Stopping the passing game will also be one of the strengths for the Maize and Blue, a defense that boasts one of the top secondaries in the country, led by senior cornerback Marlon Jackson, who's back at his natural position after moving to safety a year ago.
I'm delighted. I'm ecstatic. Everything. I mean, I'm so happy right now just to be playing corner again. I feel like a little kid in the candy store. You know, it's great to be back at my natural position, which is a corner. You know, get to showcase my talent there and to help my team win.
Challenging the Wolverines, as always, will be arch rival Ohio State. Just 2 seasons removed from winning the national championship, there are few players that remain from the Buckeyes' historic unbeaten campaign. Like Lloyd Carr, OSU head coach Jim Tressel is faced with filling many voids left by graduation and the NFL draft. Expect the defense to once again be one of the nation's stingiest, led by Big Ten preseason Defensive Player of the Year, linebacker A.J. Hawk. Big Ten preseason Offensive Player of the Year, quarterback Kyle Orton and Purdue, will also look to challenge for the conference title. Orton, who has over 6,000 passing yards in his career, knows all too well that this team will go as far as his right arm can take them, even if that means breaking the single-game pass attempts record of 83 set by Drew Brees back in 1999.
My true freshman year, I threw it 74 times in the bowl game, so that's not far off. But, you know, we got 3 great running backs and good offensive line, and you know, that's become part of our offense. So I don't know if we're ever going to get back to throwing 83 times, but I'm sure we'll throw it a lot.
Orton's go-to guy this year will likely be senior wideout Taylor Stubblefield. Stubblefield grabbed 86 balls a year ago, bringing his career total to 236. If he matches that production again this season, he'll not only break the Boilermaker receiving records, but would set some NCAA records as well.
I can't really go and say, yes, I'm definitely going to catch 70 balls, because 70 balls is, you know, a lot of catches away. So I can't really focus on that. It's not like it's 3 catches away where I'm like, you know, that's almost guaranteed.
The Iowa Hawkeyes are 21-5 over the last 2 seasons and returned 7 of 11 starters on the defensive side of the football. On offense, there are plenty of question marks, something Coach Kirk Ferentz actually seems more excited about than concerned.
A guy like Ramon Ochoa last year was really the story of our football team. Didn't even go into camp as a starter and probably was as valuable of offensive players we had on our team last year. So I think that's really one of the neat things about college football. I could throw Brad Banks up from the year before, never started a college football game and ends up being the player of the year. So yeah, that's a great thing about college football.
Also in the race for the Big Ten championship will be Minnesota. They boast not one, but 2 1,000-yard rushers in Marion Barber and Lawrence Maroney. Not to mention maybe the best offensive line in the conference to run behind. With firepower like that, Glenn Mason admits his Gopher program has made the transition from rebuilding to reloading.
I feel pretty good about this team. It's the first time since I've been at Minnesota that there are very few question marks. I think on offense, and we led the Big Ten Conference in offense in just about every category. The only question mark is quarterback, and granted that could be a big question mark, but we're a run-dominated team that returns the entire offensive line, receivers, running backs. Whoever the new quarterback's going to be, they have a pretty good supporting cast.
Charles, no surprise to see Michigan and Ohio State on top, but there are some other teams that are definitely in the mix this year.
Well, you look at 2 teams with high, potent offenses, Purdue and Minnesota in particular. They haven't learned how to win those games. Against Michigan last year, prime example, they have to understand we've been there before. We need to do it. Purdue the same way. So you look at these teams, there's a lot of matchups here. Once the Big Ten season starts, it always will shake out right then.
All right, when we come back to the Metrodome, we'll have scorers from around the country as well as the Big Ten after this.
Ladies, Boomer, this is the last rose tonight.
Make your day with the Redbirds, September 18th versus Eastern Illinois. Call for tickets.
Presentation to the board was in an hour. And while he managed to keep that dry, well, he wasn't. Which is why he was pleased to discover that our selection of big and tall was not only extensive, but at prices that, well, wouldn't soak him. After all, he had enough of that for one day.
You'll find big and tall sizes at the Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
There are
Be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hiya! Those guys were fast as lightning.
Wherever you're going, you'll feel really good riding with Geico.
Everybody was kung fu.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Pilsner Urkel. Viuquat. Willy Buissy? Wurstramner. Right, beer.
Back at the half, Minnesota 20, Illinois State 14, and Beth Mowins along with Charles Arbuckle. It could very easily be 24-20 Illinois State. They've had some chances to be in front here at the break.
They really have, Beth, and we talked about it at the break. You look at this team and you say, they have an opportunity to play well, that is Illinois State, but you don't know what's going to happen when they get on the field. Well, right away, you can see Minnesota never comfortable, and it's not because they don't want to be comfortable. I am really shocked at the way they have hurt themselves, but also Illinois State have forced them to think outside of their comfort level and made them play not the way they want to play football. I mean, particularly on the defense. Offense has really gotten rolling in that second quarter. So it's surprising to me that Minnesota has not played with the defensive intensity that I thought they would play with today.
Their offense certainly looked real sharp in that last scoring drive that took all of 50 seconds for them to grab the touchdown in the lead and then miss the PAT. Let's take a look now at some scores from around the rest of the Big Ten Conference on a busy day in college football. Iowa, Wisconsin pick up wins. Northwestern falls to Arizona State. Michigan State a winner to even their record at 1-1 on the season.
Once again, you see Purdue with the Ball State situation. Purdue has a very strong team, but again, you're going to see how they play going into, and then Marshall and Ohio State.
Another close one.
You know, Mid-American school going into Ohio State. Ohio State still young on offense, hadn't really found their way, and you can see the results right there in the second quarter.
And Michigan with the 9-0 lead. That Notre Dame offense continues to struggle. Those games coming up later tonight. Top 25 scores from around the nation, and Fresno State went into Kansas State and blew their doors off. Wow.
Last night, Boise State and Oregon State. Yeah. You know, you look at those situations, and you're surprised, but you're not really surprised. Eastern Michigan playing Florida pretty close there, 28-10, and then Georgia and South Carolina. That's a big matchup. Georgia has a very strong team, but South Carolina feels like they can turn the corner this year with the way they're going to play football.
And that Auburn team handing Sylvester Croom his first loss as the head coach at Mississippi State. Cadillac Williams got to be considered one of the front runners, along with Marion Barber for the Doak Walker Award this year as the top running back in the country. And Barber had a couple of scoring runs in the first half. Yance Vaughn threw for 2 touchdowns for Illinois State. Golden Gophers on top at the break, 20-14. We'll take a look at those highlights from the first half when we come back.
At Minnesota, we make discoveries, not just read about them.
At Minnesota, we connect with people and ideas from around the world.
At Minnesota, we reach across boundaries to improve people's lives.
We are one of America's great public universities, the University of Minnesota.
Different bikes. Different attitudes. Same insurance company. Now, one call to Geico could save you money on motorcycle insurance, too.
You have tests to take, papers to write, and no clue where summer went. Now you can have the HP Pavilion desktop powered by the Intel Pentium 4 processor, monitor included for just $4.99 after rebates. Create more colorful papers using your own digital photos with the help of HP Image Zone software. Listen to your favorite CDs or upgrade your Pavilion with a CD or DVD burner. Show your sense of style when you choose a space-saving 15 or 17-inch flat panel display. Call now. For a limited time, get a free CD burner upgrade, plus free shipping. The HP Pavilion desktop with the Intel Pentium 4 processor. You have everything you need right in front of you.
Well, looky here. A wall, a boundary, a limit. Something to keep us in our place and out of theirs. A wall is the only thing preventing me from frolicking barefoot in my neighbor's petunias. You know where they keep division titles, don't you? On the other side of a wall. Right about here. Independent race, every fan counts from Minnesota Twins.
Saturday, September 18th, the first 15,000 fans receive a limited edition Don Russ Joe Mauer rookie baseball card.
Back here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and Illinois State, surprising and impressive performance in this first half, trailing Minnesota by 6, 20-14. Beth Mowins along with Charles Arbuckle. And Charles, the Redbirds, a lot of folks probably thought they'd be long gone by now, but they have done a terrific job of hanging around in this game.
Well, to give yourself a chance, you have to get confidence. And they had confidence from the very first snap, and they executed well. They have not hurt themselves with penalties. And they've also just played with another intensity level that Minnesota didn't seem to have in that first quarter. And I think that's been the big difference.
And in a real hostile environment, they've played with a lot of poise. In fact, it was Illinois State that got on the board first as we take a look at the highlights from this first half of play. And here is the first scoring opportunity for the Redbirds, and they convert.
Well, that work down in Florida for Ramon Barber has helped him out because the moves and then the speed, showing the pull-away ability. And then that is what really set the Redbirds on the course. They knew then, hey, we have the confidence now. We can play against these guys. They put their jerseys on just like we do. And then you come back, and you see a great interception there by Tremaine Banks. But that was one of those situations where Illinois State had a chance to score again. Now, this is a nice catch by Ellerson. But Cooper, though, patiently waits till he gets over and away and he can make the nice throw. But then when you have a running back like Barber, not only with the speed, but the power, he gets into the end zone for 6 right there. Good blocking by the offensive line again. But Yancey Vaughn has shown the ability to throw the football and not be afraid to throw and make the plays when he has an opportunity. But again, Barber with the spin move looking like he's a point guard on the basketball court, and then a nice ability to stay low with leverage.
And the score there with just 10 seconds to go in the half. But then after the celebration penalty, the extra point gets blocked. That's why our score stands at 20-14, and the numbers pretty even. Minnesota starting to add on to the rushing yardage numbers there in the second quarter.
But the Redbirds are attacking that defense for Minnesota, 186 yards. But look, average on first down, very close. And then the penalties have kind of evened out. It's a very, if you look at it, rushing one way, passing the other way, both these teams are going back and forth. We'll see the second half.
Can the Redbirds keep it up? Third quarter on the way from Minneapolis when we come back.
No other weekly financial publication moves the markets like Barron's. It provides the knowledge, insight, and foresight that allow you to stay one step ahead. Subscribe now and you'll also receive this Barron's Stock Evaluator free. It lets your computer help you turn money into wealth. Get 13 weeks of Barron's and the Stock Evaluator, all for only $39. Call now toll-free, 800-334-6600. That's 800-334-6600.
Big Ten football is a special tradition.
More than 5.5 million fans pack our stadiums each year,
making Big Ten football what it is today.
So respect the game and show good sportsmanship, because the Big Ten sets an example for everyone to follow.
Before, during, and after the game.
Big Ten football. Good sports make great fans.
New, the double crust sandwich. Egg and meat and cheese and meat and cheese. That's right. Wake up with the king.
Minnesota.
I love to run, and it's not a problem. The hair goes with me when I run.
I would always wear a hat, even in the pool.
My tennis game has improved. I don't know, it just feels like I'm always acing the guy.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Parker. Hair loss is an all too common problem, but finally there's good news.
The Parker solution to hair loss?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Who's this?
Hi, I'm Peter with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency.
Hi, Chad.
Honey, you said that you wanted to get a house right away, and these housing guys, they can really help get us started.
I've got information on home buyer training, first-time home buyer loans, and down payment assistance.
Oh, Chad, you're wonderful.
Call the number on your screen today to get information on Minnesota Housing Finance Agency's first-time home buyer programs.
Getting set for the third quarter, Minnesota 20-14, the lead over Illinois State. The Gophers kicking it away. And Kyle Hill back into the end zone. And he will down it there. And the Redbirds will start out at their own 20-yard line. Some of the first half statistics. Yance Vaughn, very impressive, I thought, at quarterback for the Redbirds.
He really has been. And also Johnson with 80 yards, getting closer to that 100-yard mark. Vaughn with the 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Cooper, though, has had a pretty solid first half, but you can see Barber with 131 yards rushing, 2 TDs as well.
And once again, this Gopher defense has not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 15 consecutive games. Brooks Bollinger, the last one to do it. They'll try a little razzle-dazzle out of the locker room. It was Bollinger and Anthony Davis at Wisconsin, the last guys to do it, as Johnson played a little quarterback there looking for Robinson.
Good coverage there by Yuki Dozier, but also Pavilski. Want to set this up. They've run this play, and you can see the defense getting over there right in front of them. And then Demetrius Johnson with a pretty nice throw, but very good coverage right there by Pavilski.
Johnson a lone setback on 2nd and 10. Again, Vaughn will change things up a bit at the line of scrimmage. Pass caught by Robinson. You know, Denver Johnson was telling us this week that a lot of times they'll just call the formation in the huddle, Charles, and then they'll let Vaughn check off to the particular play once he gets to the line of scrimmage and reads the defense.
Well, he knows this offense so well, and in whatever defense they give him, he's able to get into a situation and put his receiver in the best possible place. Now, good coverage there by Dozier, but very good play by Robinson of staying open and putting that body there for Vaughn to hit him right between the numbers.
3rd down and 3. Shift on the D-line there from Minnesota. Vaughn under pressure, and he's going down. Eric Clark and Terrence Campbell leading the way. 2nd sack of the day for Minnesota.
You got all those guys from Minnesota cleaning up. Very good coverage. That's what's not going to allow you to throw the football. I mean, everyone in this secondary is covered. Laurent Robinson on the other side. There's no one open. And no time to throw it. And a little bit of grab of the jersey.
A little jersey tug as well. Hoffman's punt chases Barber all the way back to the 30. Breaks a couple of tackles at the 40. Still going across the 45 to the 47.
That's what makes Barber such a good running back. But a returner, he just finds that opening and attacks. He doesn't wait and let them come after him. And he's going to split the difference. He has 2 guys right in front of him. What? Goes right between them. They hit each other. And then he made another guy miss. And he eventually is going to get hit by all 11 defenders if he were to stay up.
Very elusive. Yeah, we've seen him spin off guys, jump over guys. Minnesota set up with good field position from the 47. Maroney nowhere to go, lost a couple on the play.
Maroney heard you say spin, and he was trying to make the spin move like his buddy Barber. But too many defenders from Illinois State right there as soon as he made that spin move. Actually lost 2 yards on that play.
Josh Cressman was leading the way. Senior from Sandwich, Illinois.
Very impressed with the defensive line of how they have been able to hold the penetration. Look at the penetration by the white jerseys. They're in the backfield before Maroney even gets to the line of scrimmage, and you can't have that if you're a running back.
And this is what is widely considered to be one of the top offensive lines in the country. Maroney following that line here for the 1st down. All the way down to the 40, Joe Watkins on the stop.
Good convoy in front. Once again, you put the center out in front of him, you pitch the ball, and you overload that side. There were not enough defenders, and Maroney's a little bit shaken up after that play. 61 Exlinger is going to lead the charge. Then you also have other people out in front. Tony Brinkhouse, big people able to move with good agility. You see the offensive linemen down the field. Normally you don't see Ansley and Brinkhouse on other teams moving down the field, but they do a very good job.
Barber to the 30, close to another 1st down. Popped by Alex Fillen. Barber racking up big numbers, adding to it. A couple of touchdowns, over 100 yards in that first half.
Tony Brinkhouse with a nice big block, just moving people down, just clearing out that whole side. And then good blocking downfield by Wheelwright. Every time you see a big run, you can see the defensive backs get upset when they're getting blocked by wide receivers.
Barber will stay in there. Gets the carry and again pulled down behind the line. Again shooting the gaps defensively. That was Jesse Caesar, the first guy there.
Jesse Caesar, that rover in the box. You know, they're going to give up some yards on some plays, but also they're going to take a chance and gamble and hope they're in the right position. And right there, they walk that rover up into the 8 men in the box and make him come and make a play.
Loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13. Couple of tight ends to protect. Cupido throwing. Ellerson with the catch at the 25.
That was the one thing that you heard from the coaches from Illinois State as well as Minnesota. This Illinois State team is going to play hard. You know, they may get into a game where they're getting beat by 20, 30 points, but they don't seem to just stop. And you can see here, they're in the ball game, 6 points down, still fighting and scrapping. Minnesota is in a in a contest right now.
You have to wonder too, Charles, if there is a wear down point for this Redbird team. The defense now spending a lot of time out there. The pitch, Barber going to throw it back to Cupido. Kai Stewart brings down Cupido around the 23.
And he just found a way to make plays. He's staying around the football. Stewart is banged up here. That was a good call, but Stewart was not fooled. He's actually shaken up. Now they've worked on this play, and you can see Barber, they don't give it enough time. It's disrupted early, and even if they did, Stewart may have had a chance at an interception.
Reese Lloyd is on to attempt the 40-yard field goal. And he's got it. Stewart and Payne on the sideline, and even further behind now on the scoreboard.
There's no other way to say it.
3-14, Minnesota leading Illinois State. Those fans are all ready to start up the bus for the Redbirds. Saying may not be done yet, though, is Maroney, who was injured on that last series, getting that right leg stretched out, the groin area. And another touchback on the kickoff from Lloyd. Let's get you back to the scoreboard now and update you on games in progress. And the Fighting Irish are on the board, trailing Michigan in the third quarter, just underway in the second half. 9-7 now, the 7th-ranked Wolverines on top.
You see, again, at halftime, Ohio State only up by a touchdown over Marshall.
Maroney continues to stretch out. And the Redbirds will have it 1st and 10 from the 20. Johnson is the lone setback. And trying to throw the receiver screen, but it's dropped by Kyle Hill.
Kyle was running before he actually had the ball in his possession. Wants that one back because it had a nice little setup. May have picked up some nice yards on that first down play.
Hill will trot back out there. This Redbird offense last year, they set school records with over 240 yards rushing per game at about 5 yards a clip. But they lost their starting quarterback, their leading rusher, and their top receiver, all having to be replaced this year. Yance Vaughn drops it off to Johnson out of the backfield. And a nice pop by Dominique Sims, the 5th-year senior linebacker out of right here in Minneapolis. And De La Salle High School, where he won a high school championship and was the Minnesota High School Player of the Year.
Nice, good stick by Dominique Sims. Demetrius Johnson, though, you keep seeing him when he gets those big hits. He needs to put those pads down because he's allowing those guys to get underneath him. You don't want to take those unnecessary hits if you don't have to. Name this jersey is getting hit quite a bit of time.
3rd and 5, and the defense for Illinois State could really use a first down here to catch their breath. Vaughn, he's got it. Ramon Barber, who had a touchdown catch in the first half, hauls in the first down toss. Tremaine Banks makes the tackle.
When you watch Illinois State warm-ups, you thought they would do more of this because they run very good quick slants. The ball is off right when the receiver's coming into that break. Good throw right there. That's an easy throw and catch. It gives you a chance to get in front, maybe even break some tackles after the catch.
First down from their own 32. Vaughn will give to Johnson. Scoots around right tackle across the 40, the 45. Justin Fraley hauls him down, but that'll be good for another first down.
When you watch Demetrius Johnson run, he almost reminds you of Joe Morris from the old New York Giants. The kind of, it doesn't look like a run, almost a shuffle, but he gets there a lot quicker than you really give him a chance. On the corner, you see the blocking, double teaming right there by the tight end and the tackle, barely getting around that corner, but just enough speed to get outside and pick up a nice first down.
He wears that number 20 for his idol Barry Sanders. Similar in size to Barry was. The throw behind Robinson, and Banks almost had his second INT of the day.
And that's a long throw. You're coming from one hash going to the other. You're trying to get Robinson. You have to put a good bullet in there. And Robinson is there, but good coverage by Banks. Playing much closer this half and almost comes up with the interception. Robinson may have helped knock it out as he was falling away.
Vaughn's numbers now today, 19 for 26, over 200 yards. He's got a couple of touchdowns and the one pick. From the 46, the draw, Johnson picks up a couple. Darrell Reed on the tackle, but Johnson is very close now to breaking up that Gopher defense streak of 15 consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher.
See the Minnesota defense looking a little tired this drive. Now they're on their heels now. You can see all the defensive linemen when they're standing up holding their hands on their hips, trying to get their breath as quickly as they can.
Third down and 7. Barber in motion. Vaughn rolling to the left, throws across his body, tipped, and falls incomplete. Fourth down. And Terrence Campbell grabs that left leg.
And that was a real good play by not only Banks, but Robinson. They've been having some matchup battles there. Campbell gets up a little gimpy. They've really gone at it on this drive. Ron Robinson almost comes up with the Campbell, jumps up and seems to hurt himself there. But look, Robinson keeps it alive, and then Banks keeps it alive, and they're fighting for it. That's a good play right there. Good matchup between those two guys.
Barber back deep at his own 10-yard line. Huffman will punt it away.
Beth, can you say it would be healthy respect that the Gophers will have for this Illinois State team after this game?
I would certainly think so. That's one of the things that the Redbirds were looking for beyond coming in here and stealing the win. They wanted to prove they could play with the big boys. And again, a Hoffman punt for the second time today will be downed inside the 10-yard line. A long way for Minnesota to go. They've got the 23-14 lead. (23-14) Minnesota with the lead and the ball at their own 6-yard line. 1st and 10, and Lawrence Maroney is back out there. He gets the call. Picks up a few out to about the 9. Barber has been Marion Barber over 100 yards rushing in the first half, and Maroney out for that last series with the leg injury, has seemingly shaken that off.
Well, and it gives them a chance to stay fresh. I think they really want to have an opportunity as they go in the season for these guys to be able to spell each other when they get into situations where it's cold or wet outside and they have to work with the running game. They both can be fresh and able to go.
2nd and 7. Play action. Cupido gets away from Crestman, tucks it under and runs with it out to the 20. Good for a first down.
Clearly some good skills from Cupido of evading the rush first in the end zone and then getting down the field. Showed some nice speed. You know, very, very elusive quarterback. Good ball handling and just gets away and holds on to the last second, even fakes the throw. But that's just enough to hold up Kai Stewart as well as Boomer Grigsby.
5 of the 6 times they've gone to the play action, they have gained positive yardage. Such a weapon that they can use with the running attack that they have. They'll go for it again here, and Ellerson nearly came up with a dandy catch. Pierre Jackson broke it up.
That was a nice setup of the play action pass, but they also went to the corner post where he really had the defensive back turned around and almost came up with a very nice one-handed catch. Tail end here, you're going to see going up, and I thought he was able to pull it back, but he was leaning so far back. Pierre Jackson there moving, like we said, from the wide out, now playing cornerback. But Ellerson, outstanding receiver.
2nd and 10. Bunch the setup on the right side. Maroney cuts it back to the near side. Lots of running room across the 40. It's a foot race down the sideline. And Lawrence Maroney is going to win it. 79 yards on the touchdown run for Lawrence Maroney.
Looked at that bunch formation last week. What really happens is they were able to get Will Wright on a deep pass. Now they come back this week and they show the bunch one way and go back with Maroney, and there's no one back left on the backside. No contain, and if you don't catch him early, he's going to get a big gain, which goes for 6.
Lloyd on to add the extra point. Well, whatever was ailing Maroney there for that one series, he's over it, and then some. And now Lawrence is over 100 yards on the day. 30-14, Golden Gophers taking over.
You need to race the rain. You need to outrun the sun. You need to be 2 places at once. That's why you need rock-solid energy products and people you can depend on. Cenex. Our energy comes through.
Sometimes being out in your own backyard helps you see things clearly. And you look across the country. First you see energy shortages, then everything else that's going on there, and then you look right here at our local electric co-op. We know the people at our co-op. We know how they do business. We know the owners because, well, we're the owners. I guess the difference comes down to one thing. The people have the power.
When we shine as one.
Malibu Max with a sliding and reclining rear seat. No wonder we call it the Max. Chevy Malibu Max, an American revolution.
Back at the Metrodome, Lawrence Maroney taking that last one, 80 yards for the score. They have had 2 scoring drives now today of under 1.5 minutes.
Everybody watch.
That one only took a minute 22 as both Barber and Maroney are over 100 yards rushing, and Minnesota has never lost when Lawrence Maroney has broken the century mark. They're 6-0 as Lloyd's kick goes out of bounds and a penalty will be assessed. And Illinois State will start out at the 35.
Go to the bunch formation. Illinois State moves over, and they move it that way, but they're able to come back and bounce.
Any guy that you want. Yeah. Like who? Let's see, who's available? There's Bronson.
Doesn't see anybody on the backside. Temple has no chance of catching him on that play.
Terrific block there on the outside by the tackle to Springham. And now Earl Newby gets the carry with under 6 minutes to go here in the third. Darrell Reed on the tackle.
Now both teams seem to be settling back in. 138, 123. Talk about the Pony Express. Look at the distribution. 16 rushes for Barber, 12 for Maroney. They like to keep it balanced. I think Maroney wants one more touchdown. He doesn't care about the carries.
That's 261 yards and 3 touchdowns for the two of them. Of course, no one in NCAA history has had 2 seasons with 2 rushers of over 1,000 yards in the season. Now that is what Barber and Maroney are chasing. A little history this year. They both went over that mark last year. That was the 3rd time in Big Ten history that school has had 2 guys over 1,000 yards.
Beth, you don't want to compare people, but you can see in anything that you read, you start thinking of the Pony Express between these 2 guys, of Craig James and Eric Dickerson. Now that was a whole nother level, but even those guys didn't do what they're on pace to do right now. Get 3 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards apiece, and you see why, because of the ability for both of these guys to really work together, but they have a strong offensive line, and they are not only fast, but quick. And you put one guy in, you put the other one in, it just doesn't make a difference.
Last year, Barber and Maroney had 2,300 yards combined. That Pony Express you were talking about of Dickerson and James had 2,500. And it was actually Amon Green and quarterback Scott Frost of the 1997 Nebraska squad that had the best tandem year with 2,800 yards in '97. And now we see Demetrius Johnson is just 3 yards shy of going over the 100-yard mark. He's not in there right now. It's Newby in at tailback. The pass to Laurent Robinson. Tried to get the ball, stretch it out to the 40. Just John Pavelski on the stop.
Pavelski, we've been calling his name a lot. He's been all over the field. And in that first half, when Illinois State was really challenging, he came up with some vicious hits on his former teammate, Demetrius Johnson.
Jans Vaughn now has completed 10 of his last 13 throws. And a big 3rd down conversion here. Vaughn's going to try to run for it, and he won't get there. Snuffed out nicely by Terrence Campbell.
Too much speed by Minnesota. You know, if you're going to call a quarterback draw, you have to have a quarterback that can really get down the field. And even though Vaughn has some nice speed, not a chance here, because this Minnesota defense getting in position. We've called Campbell's name a lot. Terrence Campbell out of Atlanta, Georgia, has been all over the field.
So Hoffman on to punt again. He's already buried 2 inside the 10-yard line. Barber will let this one go again, and this time it drifts into the end zone.
66% in bad. 2 out of 3. Beth, we talked about that a little bit at the break. This field is conducive to punters. If the ball sticks, it doesn't roll much. But if it hits a certain way, it will just scoot across this astro or field turf.
Well, you might be asking at home, what's the difference between 1A and 1AA? And here you go. First and foremost, the number of scholarship players you can have. 85 for Minnesota, 63 for Illinois State. And obviously the budgets are a lot smaller, and the travel isn't quite as luxurious in the Gateway Conference as it is in the Big Ten, but that doesn't take away from their effort on the field. Certainly not today for Illinois State. Wheelwright hauls it in at the 40, and he's gone. Another 80-yard strike, this one through the air.
How quickly they can strike is just, it's not surprising, but it's just amazing. And Cupido with the nice throw. Deep throws, you know, you find quarterbacks that can make the 15-yard out routes or the intermediate routes, but the ability to go down the field is just very impressive by Brian Cupido.
If I'm not mistaken now, for Ernie Wheelwright, that is 3 catches in his career and 3 touchdowns.
You are correct in your assessment.
Not a bad start for the redshirt freshman out of Columbus, Ohio. 80 yards from Cupido. And the big guy makes it 37-14.
All set up nicely once again by the play-action pass. All that defense flows over, and Cupido on the run, mind you, with this throw in the air. Nice throw to Wheelwright, and all he has to do is just finish it off. Sometimes you see quarterbacks making throws from a standing position, not even this accurate, but he's on the run, moving, and gets the ball out there to Wheelwright. Outstanding throw, outstanding catch, good finish.
How about that? Last 2 plays, both of them go for 80 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
This shows his arm strength also. Cooper, though, is on the run and throws it in the air 40 yards.
And it's a real concern for Denver Johnson, because Illinois State last year was very susceptible to getting burned by the big plays. They allowed 15 touchdowns last year of 30 yards or more. And in a win over SMS, they gave up 4 touchdowns of over 70 yards and still figured out a way to win the game. But 2 big ones here, and another big hit on Kyle Hill.
You can rest assured that in the locker room at halftime, there was some very serious discussion, very frank discussion by these coaches to the players, and they've taken heed to it. And you're starting to see now some of these big, explosive impact hits coming now.
Sims again.
Sims hit him so hard, he doesn't know where he is right now, and then everybody else comes and finishes it off.
Sims is a pre-med major. He may have to get a little internship in if he keeps hitting people like that. 1st and 10 for Illinois State. And now the Redbirds really up against it. And a fumble. Quickly jumped back on by the new running back in the game for Illinois State, Brian Thompson, a junior from Plantation, Florida.
Field turf was working in Illinois State's favor that time. Thompson fumbles the ball, and it bounces right underneath some Minnesota players and right back into his hands. Looks like it's actually kicked by one of the defenders, and Pavelski is just so beside himself on that play.
John thought he had the score, and boy, the defense has responded in the second half for Minnesota. Just 35 yards allowed so far in this 3rd quarter, as opposed to the 280 in the first half. And Vaughn will call the timeout. They've got just the 1 left. Minnesota with 3. Redbirds, this one of just 2 trips that they'll fly to this year. About an hour flight for them from Normal, Illinois. Pretty big school, though, 20,000 people.
And has a nice size airport, Bloomington Normal, where they have some direct flights, and particularly like the one to Orlando and to the Florida area where they can get down. But this is a fast growing community, and you can see 20,705 students. Like the last line, 22 All-Americans the last 6 seasons. So they're playing some good football in Normal, Illinois.
They will be back home next week for Eastern Illinois. And we'd like to remind you that this game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. They had their chances in the first half, did Illinois State, and could not punch it in. And now it's been all Minnesota here in the 3rd quarter with 3:06 left to go. They have run off 17 unanswered coming out of the locker room.
Almost awakening of the sleeping giant, Minnesota. And they just come out with a bang in the second half, and Illinois State didn't capitalize on all those potential opportunities they had in the first half.
High formation behind Vaughn. The deep back is Newby behind Larson. Nance looking to throw, and it's incomplete. Short of the intended receiver, Robinson, Justin Fraley with the coverage.
Well, Beth, they have to continue to run the football as well, because if you just start throwing and you give the ball over to Minnesota, they're too explosive in their offensive game plan to just give them the ball free and out, free and out. You got to find a way to get some first downs, get positive yards on first down, and then keep your drives alive.
Vaughn on 3rd down, dumps it off to Johnson out of the backfield. And he will be very close to the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot. John Pavelski with the stop.
John Pavelski is a magnet to Demetrius Johnson. Whenever you see Johnson with the ball, you can rest assured 34 is going to come flying up.
And oh, speaking of flying up, here comes Notre Dame. They take the lead over Michigan in the fourth quarter, 14-12.
Talk about the Michigan team and all the high-powered offense they have, but sometimes when you go to that South Bend place, Michigan has a long history there.
Those leprechauns start stirring things up. Caught across the middle for a big gainer into Minnesota territory. Dave Mortis, the tight end, with his first grab of the day.
Very impressive how this team from Illinois State just keeps clawing and scratching, finding ways to, you think they're out of it. Demetrius Johnson with the 11-yard gain for a first down. Then you come back and Dave Mortis down the seam, almost knocked away right there by the Minnesota defender, but he finds that gap in that cover 2 look.
They came in today as big underdogs, held their own in the first half. And now on 1st and 10, Vaughn. Quick out to Hill. Minimal gain there. When we talked to Denver Johnson the week, he said, hey, I would never ask my guys to take the field in a game that we didn't think we could win. And that was certainly the attitude they brought coming in here. And obviously to play a team of such a higher caliber, you know, he talked about things like we want our guys to measure up against the best.
And you make
obviously there's a financial gain as well to coming up here.
Now, Yakari Dozier, Dozier is getting blocked, but see, the intensity stays with it. First half, that wasn't happening. They were missing tackles and then giving up big runs, but not that time.
2nd and 9. Vaughn gets a nice block from Johnson to keep the play alive and then throws the interception. It's picked off by Dozier. Second INT by the defensive backfield of Minnesota.
Well, he's rewarded for that hustle on that last play because he stayed after it. Bond was forced out of the pocket, forced into a bad throw. Instead of throwing it away, threw it right into Dozier's hands. Forced inside by the X game, and he sees pressure right in front of his face, so he gets outside instead of throwing it away or as high as possible to get it out the sideline to Laurent Robinson. He throws it right into Yaki Dozier's hands for the interception.
Cupido looking for another big play. Justin Valentine inside the 30.
Definitely good defense here by Yaki Dozier, breaking on the ball and then just stay with it and then work in front. See, Laurent Robinson has a chance, but he keeps sliding to the sideline instead of going back to the football. Dozier was the receiver on that play instead of Robinson.
Well, Cupido has been impressive again here today. A lot asked of Brian Cupido this year, replacing Asad Abdul Khalik. And Glenn Mason said, hey, we didn't take anything out of the playbook. We kept everything in there, and we think Cupido can run it all.
If you're looking at this Minnesota ball club, you're not really concerned with the offense, but defensively, you have to have some concern with how many yards they give up and how many plays they've given up. But they are starting to turn turnovers into positive things. Yaki Dozier there, Tremaine Banks in the first half, and they didn't do that last year with the regularity that they needed to.
Barber hits the wall up front, bounces forward for a couple more, down to about the 22-yard line. Cupido's numbers today, by the way, 10 for 20, 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I think just as important to Golden Gopher fans is no mistakes. Didn't have any last week, didn't have any this week.
Handles the ball well in the play-action passing game, but also does not make mental mistakes in the passing game to give the other team a chance at interceptions.
They will give Ellerson the end around on the reverse. And he's got another first down inside the 15-yard line. Boomer Grigsby wrapped him up.
We talked to Mitch Browning about the reverse game. He said, hey, 6 to 12 yards is about what I want. And Ellerson is always there, or Will Wright. They show that look a lot, so you have to defend it. You have to keep somebody outside in containment. So when they do get the ball, you can see Ellerson, no one outside. He's able to just run.
They had a lot of praise for Ellerson, not only as a wide receiver, but as a running back on those kind of plays. And his blocking ability is improved as well. Good things happened early for Illinois State. But since then, it's been all Golden Gophers. 17 unanswered points in the third quarter to open it up.
Golf Digest is going to cure your slice now and for free.
And that's a guarantee.
Introducing the breakthrough video, Cure Your Slice Now, and it's free with your paid subscription to Golf Digest magazine. In this video, top PGA instructor Chuck Cook shows you the 7 key phases of the swing and gives you his proven method for better control and longer, straighter drives. And here's our guarantee. If Golf Digest and Cure Your Slice Now doesn't cure your slice and improve your game, cancel and keep the video free.
Golf Digest is your source for golf.
Every month in Golf Digest, you get easy-to-follow tips and instruction from the best teachers and players in golf. Information on the top equipment, the best places to play, thought-provoking commentary. You also get this removable Pocket Tips booklet. Call now. Use your credit card and get your first risk-free issue, Pocket Tips booklet and video free. You get 11 more issues for only $19.77. If your game doesn't improve, cancel and keep the video, booklet, and magazine free.
So call 800-543-6200. That's 800-543-6200. Call now.
Hey, that thing got a Hemi? You're about to find out. Excuse me. Can I have my order, please?
Dodge Ram with the legendary Hemi. Loved by those who have one, dreamt about by those who don't.
Sweet.
Get the best selection of 04 Ram 1500 Quad Cabs with 0% APR for total savings of up to $8,100.
Hey, that thing got a Hemi? You're about to find out. Excuse me. Can I have my order, please?
Dodge Ram with the legendary Hemi. Loved by those who have one, dreamt about by those who don't.
Sweet.
Get the best selection of 04 Ram 1500 Quad Cabs with 0% APR for total savings of up to $8,100.
Well, looky here. A wall, a boundary, a limit. Something to keep us in our place and out of theirs. A wall is the only thing preventing me from frolicking barefoot in my neighbor's petunias. You know where they keep division titles, don't you? On the other side of a wall. Right about here. Independent race, every fan counts. The Minnesota Twins.
Saturday, September 18th, the first 15,000 fans receive a limited edition Don Russ Joe Mauer rookie baseball card.
37-14, Minnesota in front as we start the fourth quarter, and the Golden Gophers are threatening again. 1st and 10 from the 15 and movement. Redbirds pointing at the left side of that line.
There were a plethora of people moving on that one. I think Ainsley was there, Brinkhouse. They can pick their poison on that one.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 81 and number 77.
Sounded like 81 posthumous.
5-yard penalty. It was just whoever they decided to pick on that particular play. So antsy to come off on some plays you get like that. You just feel like this play is going to work, and you think you know it's going to work, but then you hinder yourself by just jumping just a little bit too soon.
It'll set the Gophers back to the 20. Cupido gives it to Barber running left behind the block of Ainsley. He gets close to the 10, and then flags fly on the extracurricular activity over there on the sideline.
Well, Ainsley made up for his little jumping on that last play by just really annihilating that line of scrimmage, the end line. And then now Campbell doesn't help himself. I think either he or Grigsby are right there. Good block right there by Ainsley, but you can see Campbell just coming over the top, way out of bounds.
Oh. The penalty is assessed.
Grigsby made a nice play to hustle over there to make the stop, and then Campbell with the extra push. Look at the yardage on first down for Minnesota.
And when we saw this earlier, it was a lot closer, 5.5 to 7, and now Minnesota's just pulled away with a 10.8 yard. That's a first down every time they run a first down.
Every time they touch it. Justin Valentine trying to power his way in. The ball is stripped from it. And the Redbirds are headed the other way. I believe it's James Temple that got the strip.
Valentine was spinning and just gotten the ball taken away from him by James Temple. He looks like he's holding his shoulder.
And that is Barber that is still down.
Clearly, Temple just goes in and takes the ball from him. Now Barber's going to get hurt trying to chase it down. He's hustling down the field, makes the tackle, and comes down off the block and just gets knocked kind of in an awkward position. I hate to see him get hurt on a play like that, actually a hustle play.
So both teams now have been denied at the goal line.
And now they're going to review this play. But Temple clearly takes the ball, just takes it away from him. No knee was down. The play hadn't stopped. No whistle was blown. He just strips it away from him. And that's what tends to happen when you have 4 or 5 people holding you up. You get your hands pulled apart from the football. Temple just has a heads-up play and just takes it right out of his hands. No, the knee is not down. No part of his body's down. The whistles haven't blown. The ball is already out when his knee is going down.
Did not break the plane of the goal line either. Of course, the instant replay debuted last week. And, all that's involved there is a technical advisor a few doors down from our broadcast position here. And there has to be indisputable evidence for him to change a call.
He had one earlier where Lamers had called a fair catch and made sure that they stopped it and delay a game in that instance.
But they also, looks like the play will stand. The Big Ten Conference also directed the technical advisors to use common sense and be mindful of not making the interruptions too long and trying to get the call right. And this one correctly stands as is. 1st and 10 Redbirds at the 34.
I think the system will work also once they work all the bugs out, because it's not going to be a situation where coaches can make the call, but it will happen up in the booth by the technical advisor.
Demetrius Johnson is back in at tailback. No gain on the carry. Lostley on the tackle, along with Anthony Montgomery.
This is a good challenge for this Minnesota defensive front. As we talked about all game long, they have to be the focal point of this team. A lot of people have moved around, so they're playing out of position. It's different in practice than it is in the game. You can go over things, but it's a different speed, and you want to be prepared once you get into the Big Ten season.
Braun will work out of the shotgun with 4 receivers. Pass is complete at the 37-yard line. Barber hauls it in. Dozier was there defensively.
And it's also about trusting yourself.